Hello and good evening, one and all. Evening, actually, it's afternoon. I keep thinking, oh, it's an evening deadline, so it must be evening right now. It's not. It's currently 3:30 p.m. in the UK, and we've got just under 3 hours until the FPL deadline. And I thought we'd go early today. I'm not really doing anything else, so I mean, I may as well come and hang out with you guys for a bit and talk FPL, particularly as there has been so much news. I just need to tweet out the stream over on Twitter. I will always call X Twitter, by the way. It's like, there's two things that will never change their name, and that is FIFA. I will never call it FC. And there is Twitter. I will never call it X. Well, maybe occasionally, but their names will never change in my heart, I have to say. So yeah, let's get this tweeted out. Let's say hi. There we go. I don't know if you feel the same thing about those things, by the way. Yeah, we've got loads to talk about today. There's been lots of fresh injury news, including to Gabriel. I don't know if you guys have heard this, by the way. But Gabriel is now doubtful. He hasn't trained ahead of the game week, which is absolutely crazy. So I know lots of people were planning on maybe bench boosting, or maybe some people were thinking, oh, okay, I don't really need to make too many transfers this week. Maybe you don't have much going on your bench, but it was like, fine, I don't need bench cover this week. You might need bench cover this week after all, unfortunately. So I'm good. I've made some notes on all of the injury news. So I'm just going to throw that on the ticker at the bottom of the screen so you guys can have a look at that. But yeah, so the news with Gabriel, what we have right now, is that he picked up a bit of an injury, a bit of a knock in the midweek, which we didn't know about. We kind of assumed he was fine, but apparently there was some struggle there for Gabriel, and as such, he hasn't actually been able to train since Arsenal played on Tuesday. So yeah, a few days off training, Arteta's basically said, look, we're going to see how he is over the next 24 hours and make a decision on whether he's going to be able to play for Arsenal this weekend or not. But there's certainly no guarantee there. I think, in all likeliness, I think this game is so important for Arsenal. If Gabriel is, even slightly able to play, then he will play. And you know what? I always wonder if it's a bit of Arteta mind games as well, because Gabriel has become so crucial to, Arsenal scoring goals from corners. This is how Arsenal do things. Because he has become so crucial, is this Arteta kind of maybe throwing a little bit of a red herring there for Crystal Palace? So Crystal Palace, I'm really kind of unsure how to prepare for this game, not knowing if Gabriel is going to be available or not. There is just that thought in my head. Maybe that's me being overly optimistic. But yeah, you always have that thought in your head. So what to do with Gabriel? And I'm sure, by the way, apologies, guys. For those of you who watch these streams start to finish, you're probably going to hear me talk about Gabriel and his status a few times during this stream as new people come in and ask the same question again and again, which is fine. It's a long stream. But Gabriel hasn't trained. There's still a chance he plays. It's really difficult to say what the chances of him playing are without really knowing. So let's just call it 50-50 for argument's sake. And if he is available, obviously you're going to want him. So, you've got to start him. You've got to have him in your starting 11 if you have Gabriel. There's no way you're going to sell Gabriel this week if you have him already. If you don't have him already, would you buy him? Perhaps not. Perhaps not. Would you bench boost? Unless the rest of your bench boost is crazy strong, probably not. So what do? You don't sell him, you don't bench him, you start him, you maybe don't bench boost. But most importantly, you make sure you have some cover on your bench. You have some kind of cover on your bench. So let's check out my team, guys. Let's check it out. should be on screen for you guys. So, yeah, I've got some injury problems. Don't worry. I've still got 3 free transfers to figure things out. We have got super chat from Eunice Braga, who says best replacement for Romero. And this is a controversial one. It depends who you have and who you don't have. Obviously, if you don't have triple Arsenal, then going for an Arsenal player like Timber, for example, is a very obvious one. If you haven't got Senesi, he's going to be an obvious one as well. It's probably one game week too early to go for Richards, so I understand why people are put off by Richards. By the way, I appreciate I'm just naming players I own, by the way. But this is why I own them, because I like them. And then after that, I think you've got 3 major options. Outside of Arsenal, Senesi, and assuming you don't want to get Richards because he plays a tough fixture away against Arsenal this week, we're looking really at Newcastle, Chelsea, or possibly Keane at Everton. So what's interesting is Branthwaite is undergoing surgery. So Branthwaite is going to be out for months. So you could go here for let's just go through these players. You could go for Keane. The fixtures are not amazing, and Everton are not an amazing defense. So let's just throw that one out first of all. Tottenham at home, I think, is okay. I think that's actually not a horrendous fixture. Sunderland away is great. Fulham at home is great. After that, a lot trickier. We've got Man United away, bad fixture. Newcastle, probably a bad fixture. Bournemouth, definitely a bad fixture. Forest at home could be decent. But then we've got Chelsea away, Arsenal at home, bad fixtures. So there are some nuggets here. There are some good game weeks for Michael Keane. But the key thing with Keane, if you are going to get him, and it's absolutely fine to get him, by the way, he's a good pick at 4.5 million, DEFCON defender, playing for a mid-table defense with some aerial threat from set pieces. But he is not really a player who you are probably going to want to play every week. Probably good to play in around 50% of games in the next 10, 15 game weeks. So, if you think that you've got good cover elsewhere, you've already got many other good defenders, or maybe you've got like an Anderson or a Gabriel who you're expecting back in the very near future, who can come in and cover for Keane in some of those more difficult fixtures, then yeah, certainly Keane does work. But if you're needing a player who is going to be, playing the majority of matches, and you can't wait for next week to get someone from Crystal Palace like Munoz or Richards, who look really, really good right now, then you can always go for take a risk on a Chelsea defender like Chalobah. It is really risky, and every Chelsea fan I've spoken to is unsure on who is going to be starting centre-back. It's a really, really difficult to try and figure this out. Chalobah looks like he should probably be first choice, but he's not going to be playing every game. I'm not totally sure where I would go here. Thank you for the super chat, Sesk. I will come back to your message in just one moment. I do want to finish the thought on these defenders. But thank you very much for the super chat. We'll come back to you. So yeah, if you want to take a risk on Chalobah, fine. There are some other centre-backs that could play. We saw in midweek in the Champions League against Ajax that Chalobah actually wasn't starting in that game. So clearly Chelsea do feel that they have multiple options at centre-back. Chelsea fans do seem to be the players who the fans who are unsure about Chalobah, and that is in contrast with Newcastle fans who seem to have a better idea, really, of who is going to be their starting defenders. So Newcastle have fabulous fixtures for a very long time. Really, really nice fixtures. We've got Fulham, we've got West Ham, we've got Brentford. If you can cover Man City in 12, you're good to go even after that. To be fair, it's not for Newcastle, because they have been so good defensively this season. It's not the worst idea to play him, a Newcastle defender against Man City, but ideally you would look to avoid that. So then you got like Everton, Spurs, Burnley, Sunderland, Chelsea at home, Man United away, Burnley away. For Newcastle, these are all fine fixtures. These are all playable fixtures, other than maybe like a few. 1, 2, 3, maybe tops. So the next question is, who is the long-term Newcastle defenders? And from speaking to Newcastle fans, they like this guy. They like Malik Chow. He has the best DEFCON numbers among Newcastle defenders. He has the best goal threat of any Newcastle defender as well. He's a big guy. He's like 6'4", 6'5", aerial threat, target man from those set pieces, and has generated a little bit of XG so far this season, actually, in all comps, not just in the Premier League. And yeah, he's playing really well and is basically keeping Fabian Schär out of the team right now. And until Chow makes a big mistake, has a terrible game, it looks like he's going to be playing every game, pretty much. So, yeah, Malik Chow, 4.9 million, for me, is the Romero replacement. He is the player I will be replacing Romero with. I like this guy a lot. I've really deeped this one. He looks good. He does look like a really nice pick. But there is that risk that if Chow does have a poor performance, that suddenly Fabian Schär is going to play in that right centre-back position instead of Chow. So be aware of that one. If that is something that worries you, then maybe Chow is not your answer. But I would definitely say, I know some people talking about Botman, talking about Burn, and assuming that Botman and Burn are players who are better than Chow. And I think a lot of that is because of people who have heard of Burn, they've heard of Botman, they are familiar with these players, they are familiar with these names. But right now, from every Newcastle fan I've spoken to, well, maybe not everyone. There's always, some difference of opinion. But the majority of Newcastle fans are just as concerned, if not more concerned, with Botman and Burn and their long-term minutes than they are with Chow. Because ultimately, as soon as a left back is available for Newcastle, then who's going to play left centre back? It's going to be between Burn and Botman. And we can't say for sure which one is going to play. It's unlikely that Burn and Botman play together as a centre back partnership. It's pretty unlikely that happens. So, yeah. Nixie says this is why I went for Pope. Yeah, Pope solves everything, but we're talking about defenders to buy. So, and a lot of people, even more so now that Gabriel is doubtful, people are looking for defenders to go for. And I think for me, Malik Chow is the solution, but I understand that that's not going to be a super popular one. I'm sure a lot of people will disagree with me on that one. But I do think that a lot of the people who are disagreeing with me on Chow are because they are unfamiliar with the player rather than, being really, really, really aware of what he is, how he's been playing, et cetera, et cetera. So, yeah, there you go. E-Man says Burn is 100% starting for Newcastle. Oh, yes, and absolutely, he will be 100% until maybe, well, it'll be Lewis Hall that comes back from injury first. Until Lewis Hall is back, and then you just get that 10, 15, maybe even 20% chance of a benching. So it's not going to happen, every week, but you're going to have that slightly higher rotation risk than we have now. Right now, yes, Burn is 100%, but in a few weeks' time, that's going to kind of drop to 10%, 15%. Oh, sorry, down by that. So you're going to go to 90% chance of starting, 85% chance of starting, etc., etc. Which I don't think Chow really has this. It's a different situation with Chow, because with Chow, it's really a case of he will play until he plays badly. So yeah, it's a big question, and I totally understand the skepticism around Chow, but I am personally sold on him, but I am, as an FPL manager, typically more inclined to take a risk and take a punt where I think I see something special. And over the last 2 seasons, that hasn't always worked, but in seasons before that, it often has worked. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. You win some, you lose some, but yeah, I like it. Right. So, Sesk, apologies. I did want to do a nice big waffle on defenders before we moved on to your super chat. By the way, just to give you an idea of what we're looking at, it's going to be something like this. So let's throw in Chow, and we're going to throw in Enzo here as well. So just put that on screen whilst we're chatting through the next question. So, Sesk74 says, hey, Danny, I hope all is well. I missed the bench boost last week. When do you reckon the next bench boost week, given Gabriel is a doubt now. And I think, to be honest, Sesk, if you're looking at bench boost, we're really basing it around when do your cheap players have good fixtures? When, I'm assuming you have Dubravka on your bench, like everyone seems to. When is the next time Dubravka has a good fixture? Well, we've got game week 9. Maybe Gabriel has kind of scuppered a lot of bench boosts this week. But we've also got game week 11 there. West Ham away. It's not such a bad fixture. And if we go and have a look at game week 11, where are we? So, fixture analyzer. Another super chat from Sinner. We'll come back to that one, my friend. So game week 11. So let's look at 11 in isolation here. And if you have a lot of these players who maybe are on your bench, in or around your bench, if you've got maybe Everton players, Spurs players, Crystal Palace players, you know, even an Alderete or Mukiele against Arsenal at home, you're going to pick up defensive contributions in that game, pretty much guaranteed for both Mukiele and Alderete. If you've got Esteve, he works against West Ham. Who do Leeds play that week? They play Forest away. So yeah, so if you've got a Rodon, he's going to work absolutely fine. So a lot of the 4 million guys, I think, are going to be fine for that game week. You've then got, we've got Dubravka as well. So 4 million Dubravka, 4 million defenders, they're going to work. What's the rest of your defense looking like? What's your I don't know if you have a 4.5 million defender. Is it Keane against Fulham? Is it going to be Anderson against Everton? Is it going to be Richards against Brighton? If it's any of these guys, then again, it's a good week to bench boost. So game week 11 for a lot of people is going to look like a nice bench boost week if they haven't used that chip already. So that is the big standout one there. I would be a little cautious about waiting too much longer to use the bench boost. I think it is a chip where you want to get it out the way, because I feel like the bench boost in many ways is kind of a weight on your back. You know, you've constantly got to think about, oh, I can't, downgrade my bench players. I can't free up money here. I have to make sure my bench players are all really good, and maybe I have to use transfers to improve my bench. And then I'm going to have to use more transfers to take some of those players out again. And it just becomes a pain. And, it in many ways restricts the way in which you can play FPL. So I wouldn't wait too long to use it. I think game week 11, if you're worried about Gabriel this week, that is put you off the bench boost. Check your team out for game week 11. What's it going to look like game week 11? What are your cheap, bad, worst FPL assets in your squad? What do they look like for game week 11? If they've actually got some good fixtures there, you could do it. You could for sure give that one a little go. We've got another super chat here from Sinner who says, Gue for Watkins, have Haaland, Mateta, Saka next week. I would say that, yeah, you could think about moving Gue in for Watkins. But I think for the majority of people, that's going to be the kind of transfer move you make if you're making a double change. So if you're planning on making multiple transfer moves in 1 week, you downgrade Watkins to Gue in order to upgrade someone else, then absolutely that would work. But if you're talking about just Watkins to Gue and then not really doing anything else, just leaving the money in your bank for this week, it's probably not worthwhile. Probably. Like, I don't know, if you've got Gue to Watkins, if you've also got like a Reinders in your squad who you could then upgrade Reinders to Saka and do a double switch there, then yeah, sure. That sounds pretty good. But a straight swap of Gue to Watkins to Gue, you could do, but it's a non-essential transfer. There's no guarantee that Mark Gue starts this weekend. I know some people are assuming that he will, and he has got a very good chance. I think Mark Gue has a really good chance to start this weekend, and maybe even the following week. But we've got to remember, it's not guaranteed. We could just see Joao Pedro play up front. We know Liam Delap is back on grass training, so he's going to be back within the next couple of weeks as well. And then when Palmer is back as well, I mean, Gue is going to be so far down the pecking order, he'll possibly never play another game for the rest of the season. I'm sure he will, but you know what I mean. Starts are going to be super unlikely for him. He's only even at the club back from Sunderland because Delap got injured. If the lab can return, then Mark Yu is right down the pecking order all over again. So that is certainly what I would say on him. Yu is a lovely enabler, but we need to manage our expectations on 4.3 million forwards, I think. We need to really manage our expectations there. A few people talking about Croupy Jr. as well. Wait, Mark Yu set to go down to 4.2 tonight. Is that actually true? You're kidding me. That is so harsh, if so. So people who are buying you are also going to lose 0.1 in value. Oh, man, yeah. He's down. He's going to 4.2 million. Jeez Louise. So, yeah, okay, if you do want to go for Mark Yu, be prepared to lose 0.1 million. I think at this point, you just don't buy him, right? You just don't buy him. It seems like a bad move at that point. If he's going to be dropping in price, Mark Yu is not worth losing team value over. But I suppose if you're a Watkins owner, he's not far off a decrease either, is he? He's not far off it. Probably will happen. Will it happen tomorrow? Maybe. It probably won't happen today. That's brutal, by the way. That's so brutal. We'll talk about Krupa Jr. in a second, but Mark Consiglio has said, hey, mate, would you sell Anderson to Keane and bench boost and hope Gabriel plays? Also, start one, DCL, Sart, and Juve. Who would you put first on the bench? I put Calvert-Lewin ahead of Sar. I'll probably put Juve instead of Sar as well, to be honest. Start one. So, yeah, so start one, DCL. Then Juve first on the bench, then Sar. Then obviously, if you're keeping Anderson, then he goes last on the bench because he's not going to play anyway. Would I do Keane to Anderson? Anderson to Keane and bench boost, though? I'm going to say no. No. Because, like, Sar against Arsenal isn't great. Juve, there is the stat worry that for some reason he didn't start last week. I don't see a reason why Juve wouldn't start this week, well, tonight, but he didn't last game week for whatever reason, which is really a head messer. It's a head messer. It's a head scrambler, a head scratcher. So no, I think my answer would be no. I think my answer would be no on that one. Tom says, who to bench? Enzo, Gakpo, Rice, Gordon, Joao Pedro, and Mateta. If it's only one, Mateta. If it's two, then Mateta and Rice. Yeah, probably just Mateta against Arsenal makes the most sense. By the way, Mateta played 90 minutes last night. And now he's got to play against Arsenal at the weekend. Tough. Very, very tough. Majon says, just back from the international break, that's why Juve didn't play. But it was on Monday. He'd been back for like 5 days, 6 days by that point. He'd been back for ages. I don't know if that's the reason. I mean, maybe it is. Maybe it is. I mean, is there clear information on that? As the manager actually said the reasoning there? Don't know. But that doesn't sit right with me. If that is, the reasoning. Right, let's talk about Croupy Magoopy. Not his name. Croupy Jr. So, the latest news is that Evan Nilsson is going to be out game week 9. So, Croupy Jr. has got a clear run to play at home against Nottingham Forest. Now, it's going to be a Sean Dyche, a Dyche ball Nottingham Forest. So, depending on how quickly Dyche can get his, anti-woke football going for Forest, might impact how much joy Bournemouth can get in this game. But the problem with Croupy Jr. is that Evan Nilsson is expected to return to football in game week 10. They are hopeful. Iraola is hopeful that Evan Nilsson will be available for game week 10. And Iraola has also said, made comments last week how, despite Krupa Jr. is very much a work in progress. Evan Nilsson is a player they have a lot of respect for, not just for goal scoring, but for his general play and how he helps this Bournemouth team click and work. And it has been clicking and it has been working. Even if Evan Nilsson, from an FPL perspective, hasn't always benefited from it necessarily. So Krupa Jr. is really a 1 week punt. You might get 2 weeks out of him if you're very lucky. But are you going to want away against Man City anyway? Probably not. So for an extra 0.2 million, is Krupa Jr. worth going for? If he scores a hat-trick this weekend, then sure. But, you are counting on him getting a return, which I don't think is a guarantee. Again, always got to manage our expectations with these 4.5 million. People are very quick to call cheap players who score goals game-breaking assets, but there's usually a reason they're so cheap, and the reason why Krupa Jr. is so cheap is because he's probably going to be a 2-game wonder and then back to the bench. He will still get minutes, but he'll get a lot of 1-pointers, and if you do buy Krupa Jr. and Evan Nilsson is back next week, suddenly this is a player who has to sit last on your bench every week. Because even if you think there's a chance he's going to play, you're never going to take that risk. Never going to take that risk. Anyway, we got another super duper chat from Diggsy, who says, I can't decide who to bench, Mateta or Reinders. I think I would back the penalty taker in Mateta. I think open play, Reinders has the better chance of getting something than Mateta. And it's got to be tempting to play Reinders, right? It's got to be tempting to play Reinders. But Mateta, on penalties, is maybe, that tilting of the coin toss that is perhaps needed in order to make a decision there. See, I think I would bench Reinders. But look, that's a tough decision. That's a tough decision. JJ says, like the stream, guys. And you know what? I fully back it. I fully back it. Yes, guys, if you do enjoy the content or enjoying the stream, maybe you're new to the stream. If so, welcome. But if you wouldn't mind dropping a like, it really does help out the channel so much. It really does. And yeah, really appreciate it. And bring some joy to an FPL content creator on a Friday afternoon. Why not, guys? Yeah, massively appreciate everyone who is liking the streams and videos. You guys are legends. And do feel free to subscribe as well if you enjoy what you're seeing today and you'd like to see a little bit more, be that free videos, more streams, and many more things. Many more things. Short form content as well, occasionally now. Don't ask me why I've started doing that, but we are doing that on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. Who knows? All Things Sports says, hi, Dan. When is the next Stick to FPL video coming out? I'm not sure. Sim is currently away. He's away for a couple more weeks. So, I don't know. Maybe we'll come back in a couple of weeks after that. We'll see. We'll see. I don't think it is guaranteed to come back, full stop. Just wanted to put that one out there. Need to kind of think this one through. But yeah, we'll discuss that at a different time. Wissam says no buy sell keep avoid for this week. Yeah, buy sell keep avoid went out on Monday. The long form video went out on Monday, and the short form video went out on, was it yesterday, Thursday, maybe Wednesday, actually. So there we go. What's your view on Doku? Would probably sell him, Killer, to be honest, my friend. Has anyone got any info on Gabriel starting? Nobody is. The decision hasn't been made. Yeah, just a recap on Gabriel. I know we spoke about him already, but the decision hasn't been made on Gabriel. So, we can, like, as always, with FPL, you want to have that guaranteed information. You want to know 100% who is going to be starting, who's going to be benched, who is going to be shipped off for a loan at, Aldershot Town. You want to know all this information for 100% certainty days ahead of time. It's unfortunate that, Arteta hasn't decided if Gabriel is going to be available to start or not. So I definitely can't tell you the answer to that one. Mazen says, thoughts on Gyökeres, Petrovic to Mateta and Raya next game week from -4. Already got Saka and Gabriel with Petrovic will play against Man City, so is it worth a -4? You know what? It's not too bad. It's not too bad. I would be tempted to do that, Mazen. Yeah, it certainly improves your team. But then again, does it? It's going for that double Arsenal defense, isn't it? If that's something you really value, going for double Arsenal defense, and it's something I value, then yeah, I would go for it. I would go for it. But of course, that's next week. We've got a whole weekend of football before deciding on any game week 10 transfers. But of course, we will be trying to help you guys out with some of your game week 10 decisions from Sunday, really. Tai Truong says, "Hi Dan, loving the content, and it's in Australian dollars, so we'll do this super chat in an Australian accent. That's how things work on the FPL Mate streams. Hi Dan, loving the content. Free transfer, kudos to Enzo Worth. I would say, Ty, that kudos to Enzo, and I know that's a transfer a lot of people are considering, is a luxury transfer if I ever did see one. It's definitely not something that you have to do, but if you feel strongly about it, then you could do. But yeah, I don't think I'd do it personally. I think it's a little bit luxurious. But if you've got 5 free transfers, you just need to find a way of using one of those transfers on something. Maybe you've got 3 or 4 free transfers. You've really got nothing else to do. Then it's definitely something I would consider. But I don't think I would do it personally, particularly if I only had 1 or 2 free transfers. I don't think Enzo is that essential. So that's probably my suggestion to you. And thank you very much for the super chat. That is grouse. That is bloody grouse of you. We got another super chat from Ross, who says, Virgil van Ven. I was just reading the letters and trying to say words at the same time. VDV. Okay, so Van der Ven, Foden, Reinders, and Gyökeres to Timber, Saka, Enzo, and Krupi for free. Oh, for free, you say? I don't hate it. I really don't hate it. My one concern is I'm not personally huge on Krupi Jr. because with Evan Nilsson's injury not being serious and Evan Nilsson expected to be back next game week, is it worth it for the 0.2 million? Would it be just worth saving 0.2 million and going for Obi? Maybe. Unless you need an additional attacker to play in game week, game week 9 in isolation. So if you need a game week 9, an additional game week 9 player, then Krupi Jr., yeah, go for him. But if you don't, and actually you're going to bench this guy anyway, or, you've got another player you would happily play instead, then I would go for Obi at 4.3. Of course, Mark Yu, as we found out not so long ago in the stream, Mark Yu is due to drop to 4.2 million in price. So it's not even like Mark Yu at 4.3 is really an option anymore, because you're going to lose value if you buy him, which is it's going to be really frustrating. A couple more super chats coming in, so let's catch up with those. Qatari1999 says, is it worth bringing in a Newcastle defender for Tarkowski? In my opinion, no. I'd be happy to play Tarkowski this week. I'd be more than happy to play Tarkowski this week if I had him. And, Tarkowski against Sunderland next week as well, which is pretty nice. Sidoff says, best budget replacement for Romero, 4.5 or lower. I'd be going straight for Keane. If you want to save even more money, you could go for Rodon. But, yeah, I think I'd be looking at Keane of Everton fame for that one. Mazem says, actually, I prefer double Arsenal defense rather than attack, and I really prefer Timber over Raya, but I'm trying to justify the -4. That's why I went for Raya. I don't know. Does it justify it? Does a goalkeeper transfer really justify anything? I'm not sure if it does, to be honest. So, I think, Petrovic is not a must-sell goalkeeper at all. Even in the trickier fixtures, often that's, some goalkeepers will actually pick up more save points in the trickier fixtures, and it kind of balances things out a little bit. Unlike defenders who are, less able to get save points because, they're not goalkeepers. And although saying that, defenders can now get DEFCON in tricky fixtures. So Yeah, I don't think Petrovic is a must-sell, despite, you know, one bad fixture. There's still some good fixtures coming up for Bournemouth, and they have been a solid defence. So I don't know if it does, you know, justify it. If you actually prefer Timber, maybe find a route to Timber. Maybe find a different route there. Carl Mead says, buy Enzo Gameweek 9 and Richards Gameweek 10, or Caicedo and Timber. Ooh, what? Caicedo and Timber this week? Depends what the situation is with the rest of your defense. If you actually don't really need an extra defender this week, you're already pretty comfortable with your defense, then you could just do the Enzo move. But if you're unhappy with your defense and actually could quite do with Timber, then maybe the Caicedo and Timber move is going to be the one for you. So it's going to be team dependent, I think, that one. I think generally speaking, I would like to have 3 Arsenal players by next game week. I would find a way of making that happen. Or arguably even this week, to be fair. I'd want to have 3 Arsenal players at some way or another, right? It's got to be done. It's got to be done. But maybe that's because I'm an Arsenal fan. Maybe that's Arsenal bias. But I mean, it's kind of not really, because if we look at the projections and the markets, have we got updated markets odds or anything like that? Rob T, what do you got for us? Oh wow, that's good timing. Oh no, that's something different. That's Game Week 9 projected points. Saka in second, Bruno in third. Crazy. Interesting. I'm getting distracted. So yeah, Arsenal with the second best projected goals for Game Week 9 and the best, you know, clean sheet percentage chance, whatever. So yeah, triple Arsenal, man. Triple Arsenal, it's the one, isn't it? It truly is the one. So we got a super chat here from Tyler who says Tino to burn this week or Gyökeres to Mateta and Timber next. If you need a new defender, then Tino Livramento is going to have to go, isn't he? He's going to have to make way. I wouldn't do Gyökeres to Mateta this week, though. Oh, are you saying, okay, both Gyökeres to Mateta and... Oh, and bring in Tino for Timber next week. Oh, yeah, I kind of like that, you know, Tyler. I like your option for next week. So, yeah, so basically, if you don't need that extra defender, if you're happy with the defenders you have and you can cover for Tino Livramento in Game Week 9, then I would wait it out and do that double move next week. But if not, maybe it is time to make that move this week. Here for FPL says, cheers for the Chow shout out now that Romero is out. And he's contributed towards a little beer. Thank you very much here for FPL. Appreciate you as always, my friend. Yeah, so, yeah, Chow could be the answer. Depending on what the problem is, Chow could be the answer. Which is really, really interesting. Tyler says, might change if Gyökeres scores. Yeah, to be fair, Tyler, like, if you can hold off on the transfer, it's one more week of information, isn't it? One more week of, you know, trying to figure stuff out. And, you know, your mind can change a little bit in an individual game week. Shonen Flows says, will Gabriel play? Naruto. Incredible anime, by the way. Huge, huge fan. Well, I've actually gotten Shonen Flows. You'll like this one. I've actually got a Naruto behind me. I don't know if you can see him. There he is. He's right there. As for your question, Mikel Arteta, the Arsenal manager, doesn't even know if Gabriel's going to start or not yet, so I certainly can't tell you. There he is. Little Naruto. And he stays right there behind me at all times to keep me safe from the Akatsuki. Right. What else have we got in the chat? Was Richards given the midweek off, Dan? Yeah, he was. And it's not the first time that's happened either. Richards has kind of missed a couple of midweek games this season. I'm not sure if he's maybe seen as just a player who is slightly less, I don't know, robust when it comes to fitness, maybe. Or, maybe it's probably fair to say that he is, out of the 3 Crystal Palace centre-backs, he is probably the least important of the 3 in real life football terms, not so much FPL. So, if they are going to, rest, rotate, give another player a chance, easy, it should have been easy against Larnaca, in an easy fixture, then it's maybe going to be Richards dropping out. But yeah, Nixie, you're right. He last season there was some injury issues with Richards. He isn't as injury proof as Lacroix and Gay. So maybe there's a bit of that. But I know a lot of people have been kind of concerned, what does this mean for Richards? Is he going to be a rotation risk player now? Blah, blah, blah. He's played every single game he's been available for, pretty much for the last 2 years in the Premier League. So maybe only missing a couple in 2 years of the games he's been available. So there's really not too much to suggest that Richards is going to be suddenly a player who will be rested, rotated, whatever, other than then in these super easy games in the midweek Europa Conference League. So I'm not worried about Richards personally at all. Carl says, 1 free transfer, have Gabriel, Doof, Esteve, Anderson, Senesi. Are these your defenders, my friend? So you've got, obviously, the Anderson injury worry, definitely out. We've got Gabriel doubtful. But to be honest, Doof, Esteve, and Senesi are enough cover for a 3-man defense. I think they're absolutely fine. So I would be okay with not using any free transfers. I think I'm low-key hoping that Anderson drops to 4.4 because he is a player I would really like to jump on at some point or another. It doesn't look like it's going to happen, but if Anderson can drop to 4.4 million, that would be amazing. I can really see myself picking him up at a later date, and the cheaper he is, the better, right? The better. Rory House says, how's it going, Dan? Super tempted to captain Saka this week. I've seen a few people tempted to captain some different players. I've seen Saka in the chat. I also saw someone say Semenyo as well a moment ago. I think I was waffling at the time, so I was unable to respond in time. But yeah, certainly. It's interesting because Aston Villa away is seen as a difficult fixture historically. In reality, high line of Aston Villa, an Aston Villa team that have just lost midweek to some Dutch farmers. Maybe that was a bit disrespectful, but you get the point. To a team they really should be beating. You've got to fancy Haaland, the form he's in right now. If Haaland can rip up, all manner of teams in the Premier League, he's one of the few players to score against Arsenal this season. I'm sure he can handle Aston Villa. So yeah, for me, there is a no-brainer Haaland captain, but it's an interesting one. And maybe we should put a captain poll just to see if anyone is thinking a little bit different. Maybe they are. Imad says, I want to send you want to send your team to rate it. So we do team ratings, but only for channel members at the starting 11 tier or above. I know it would be lovely if we could just rate everyone's team, but we've got well over 1,000 people here, so it's sadly just not going to be possible to rate everyone's team. So we do save that as a special perk for members of the channel, unfortunately. But hopefully we can still give some tips that, in terms of those transfers, in terms of those moves, in terms of those ideas, without necessarily doing the whole team deconstruction, which is a little bit more time consuming, unfortunately. Die Hard Kid says, Gyökeres to Calvert-Lewin and Reinders to Saka, bench Paqueta. Oh, I don't know. I'm not huge on the Calvert-Lewin move. I'd rather go to 4.3 Obi, and then that would actually allow you to upgrade Paqueta. Maybe not this week if you don't want to, but you could maybe make that upgrade next week. And maybe taking Gyökeres down to Obi, you play Paqueta, and then next week maybe Paqueta can move to like Ismail Assar, and then suddenly you're looking good. You're looking good. Banspear FPL says, Dan, it was me who was the 1% triple captain on Semenyo in your experts video. It's still on him. You're crazy, man. Are you going to go through with this? You're going to go through with the Semenyo triple captain? Triple captain. Not just captain, triple captain. I can't believe it, man. I can't believe it. Mazen says, really liked your thoughts, Dan. So one last decision for me this game week is to do one of the following. Only one free transfer. Reinders to Enzo or Van de Ven to Chow. Both are in my starting 11 currently. Well, I suppose, first of all, Mazen, thank you so much for the support. I can see you're a member of the channel and you're also supporting with Super Chats. 3 Super Chats, might I add. So you're an absolute legend and we really do appreciate it. It really does go a long way into supporting the channel. And I guess... to try and maybe comment on that, I think genuinely both Reinders and Van de Ven are playable, at least, this game week. But I would be more tempted by the Reinders to Enzo move. I think that more vividly improves your team. So that's what I think I would do. Even with that one free transfer, I think I would pull the trigger. If you have the money in the bank to move Reinders to Enzo, I think I would go ahead and do it. So, yeah, that's what I would say, my friend. Don't expect too much from Van de Ven, but a lot of people will be suffering with their defenders this week, I'm sure. I'm sure. Stubaroo says, Deputy Doofy identified. Are you going to take that? Are you going to take that, Bansbeer? Bansbeers, should I say? You're going to take it. Deputy Doofy, you're being called right now. I mean, it is a little bit risky, isn't it? Jeremy says, FPL fortune favors the bold. Best wishes to you. You're going to need some best wishes, I can't lie. You know, it could work out, to be fair. It could very well work out. And then we'll all look stupid. I mean, I think my issue is not so much with the captaincy on Semenyo, but more so with the triple captain on Semenyo. Like, surely there's going to be better opportunities. Surely, even if you're desperate to captain Semenyo, you're going to have better fixtures than a Sean Dyche Forest. I mean, you've got West Ham in 12, you've got Sunderland in 13, even Everton in 14, I prefer. You've got Burnley in 17. Like, there are... A triple captain Semenyo at some point? Sure, why not? Remember, Semenyo's not going to AFCON either, because Ghana didn't qualify. So you're going to have plenty of opportunities later for Semenyo. That's, I think, what is bothering me. The captain... Look, I couldn't do it myself, but I get it. The triple captain... I cannot begin to understand. I cannot begin to understand. Sultan says, play Q over Njai. I have both Enzo and Joao Pedro. Probably not. I probably would play Njai this week. To be fair. Njai penalty taker, man. And Spurs are not that good. Spurs jammed a couple of clean sheets early in the season, and then some people think they're a good defense. They're really not. They're really not. They've been absolutely selling for weeks, months, maybe. Arda says, this guy is against fun. I'm not against fun, guys. Come on, man. In terms of, you know, I think on the scale of boring to fun for FPL content creators, I think I do skew fun. Probably. Like, it's not like I'm putting on my nerd glasses. Actually, guys, Semenyo is not an optimal captain this week. We must stick with the optimal decisions. I'm not saying that. Just saying, triple cap. There are better triple captain weeks. It's not even a captain issue. It's a triple captain issue, I think, for me, really. Actually, guys, it is not. You do not get the best possible EV from that move. Sorry, guys, it is not an optimal decision. Please use statistics before committing to FPL decisions. Could never be me. Could never be me. Thank you, Arda. It's all right. It's calm. I know we're all just joking around here. Mike with the super chat says, I should probably use triple captain on Haaland before he runs out of form, but I don't know when to do so. I know what you mean, Mike. There's always that consideration that, yes, there may be some nice fixtures coming up for Haaland. You may be looking at Leeds in 13, Sunderland in 15. But it's like, what if Haaland gets injured before then? What if Haaland, has a couple of blanks against Bournemouth, Liverpool, Newcastle, which could be tough fixtures? Are we going to have that level of confidence in triple captaining Haaland at that moment? Perhaps not. So, I don't know, man. Yeah, I get it. I definitely understand why people are just saying, I'm just going to throw triple captain on Haaland now whilst he's in form. So yeah, Matt says, do nerds say guys? That's a great question. I don't know. Do they not? Chaps? Gents? What do they say? Brandon says, this is my favorite version of Dan. Statistics and the accent breaks me. I'm glad to hear it. I'm glad to hear it. AD says, is that a dig on Harry? Well, just because his glasses? I don't know. I don't. Does Harry say things like that? I don't think he does. But there we go. As a nerd, I absolutely say guys. Yeah, to be fair, I'm also probably a nerd, and I do say guys. Nerds would say fellas. Oh, that's great. Actually, let's run it, Mark. Let's run the scene. Sorry, fellas. I'm not sure that the triple captain on Semenyo is optimal this week. Fellas, no, it doesn't work. I'm not feeling. I think guys works. Actually, guys, I think that works. Actually, fellas, I don't know. Gravy says Chow is a fun transfer. Don't listen to him, Dan. Yeah, I know, man. The Chow transfer is not the nerd glasses. It's the deal with it glasses. These are the glasses for the Chow transfer. These are the going a little bit out there. We've got a super chat from Ethan who says, would you start Munoz or Elliot Anderson? Good question. I'm going to say Elliot Anderson, I think. Well, Munoz is going to be good for DEFCON against Arsenal. He's going to be a 2 or 3 pointer, though, right? I don't know, man. I don't know. That's a really tough question. Because neither are great. It's picking the best of a bad bunch, really. At least Elliot Anderson can't lose points for conceding goals. So maybe, therefore, that's the answer. Bournemouth are a decent team to get DEFCON against, I suppose. Let's say Elliot Anderson, assuming he is available, right? I'm not missed anything there. Connor says, if you want a replacement, surely it has to be Folks. Yeah, Folks could work. Fellow Mortals, Brandon suggests. Yeah. These are options. Igbegual Lua in a Minions voice. Well, that is a first for that request. I have to say that is a first. I don't even know how to do that, really, to be honest. I've rarely attempted a Minions voice. I did have a banana this morning, though, which was very delicious. Kavalash says, yo, Dan, sorry I haven't been in your streams for a while. I'm busy in uni. What do you do with Anderson? Ideally, you bench Anderson, I think, Kabalash. Ian says, Chow is a fun now until 5 weeks later you are wondering if the data was lying to you. Yeah, it is one of those ones, isn't it? But I need to sign a defender. Like, it's between him and Keane. And I think, to be honest, Keane has just as much potential to be one of those transfers you regret later down the line. The good thing is that after this game week, I should have adequate bench cover, really, for a long time. So if Chow in a few weeks is terrible, I am going to be able to use other defenders. Dan, what about clients? What are you calling you guys clients? I don't know about that one, mate. Maybe. I can barely see through these glasses, by the way. What are you drinking? We're on the blackcurrant squash hype, as always, on the streams. We do love a glass of blackcurrant squash. Or sometimes orange squash, but it's getting more wintry. We prefer blackcurrant in the winter months. Orange is more of a summer flavour of squash. A man says, why is Gabriel on the yellow Dorito of death? Great question. Yeah, picks up an injury a minor injury midweek and was unable to train this week. So it's going to be a last minute decision on his fitness ahead of the Crystal Palace game. So we're not sure. Arteta himself is unsure. So we'll have to wait and find out. Basically, get some bench cover, sort out your bench cover, and hopefully things will figure themselves out. Stubaru says, Dan, sorry, my actual FPL question. I'm on bench boost with a full fit 15 until Gabriel. One transfer, should I straight swap Calafiori to Calafiori? Nah, because you need Gabriel long term. You need Gabriel long term, so I don't think so. There's no way I would sell him. Stream's a bit choppy. Is my internet dropping, maybe? I don't know. But yeah, no way to sell Gabriel. If he's got a 50% chance to start this week and a 100% chance of starting next week, that's still amazing. Something wrong with my mic? For real? Quality dropped. It might have been my internet just dropped for a moment. Is it better now? Or is it permanently finished? Done? Who knows? Patrick says, are you doing team reviews this week? We did team reviews last night, Patrick, actually. All good now? Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Yeah, Patrick, we did do team reviews last night. I mean, I don't see why we couldn't do a few more. We've still got 2 hours until deadline, so it's not like we're kind of pushed for time or anything like that at the moment. Right, let me see. What are we going to do? What do we need? What am I looking for? I'm looking for the folder of team reviews. Let's find it. It sounds like quite accomplished rapping. What does? What sounds like accomplished rapping? I would love to know the answer to that. Yeah, Patrick, you did miss it, but we could do some more. Oh, I've seen you found a way of putting a team in there. So already. So yeah, we can throw you in. We can do a quick team review. And by the way, guys, I'm not reviewing. This isn't a random team review. This is like we every Thursday. Well, other than last week where we did Friday, which I appreciate is confusing. Every Thursday evening we do team reviews for members. And Patrick is a member who missed last night's stream, so I thought, we've got a couple of hours. Let's be kind. Let's be kind and review said team. Okay, so Patrick, you say need help with who to transfer. You've got 3 free transfers. 0.8 in the bank. Let's see here. So your idea is, I'm not sure what that is. So that is Gyökeres to Voltemada, Rodon to Timber. Rodon doesn't need to go anywhere, by the way. You don't need to sell Rodon. Romero, you do need to sell. Arguably, Stack, you need to sell. Could you do... Let's see here. So, could you do... Do you like the idea of triple Arsenal defence? If you're willing to go for triple Arsenal defence, you know, I back it. I really do back it. Do you like the look of Gyökeres to Voltemada, Stack to Enzo, and Romero to Timber? And then next week, you could do Reinders to Sarr. Do you like the look of that? But, like, honestly, like, does this team even really need transfers? You play Raya, you play Gabriel, Senesi, and Rodon. Have Richards back up. You can maybe upgrade Romero and then have Rodon back up for Gabriel. So just do a Romero transfer. Semenyo's fine. Bruno, Kudus are fine. Joao Pedro, Haaland, Gyökeres are fine. Reinders and Stack aren't ideal. You've got 0.8 in the bank, so you could... If you downgraded Romero to either Keane, Chow, or Botman, so Chow and Botman of Newcastle, if you downgraded Romero to one of Keane of Everton or Botman or Chow at Newcastle, that would allow you to upgrade Reinders to Enzo. That way you could bench Rodon and Stack and have cover for Gabriel, and you still have a transfer left over for next week. That's probably what I would do. I'd probably do something like that. 0.2 off for Enzo. Yeah, it's solved by dropping Romero down to 4.9 or less. So that would work. I like it. Mark says, hi, Dan. I've also done a sneaky upload. All right, let's have a look. We'll have a look. Of course, we'll have a look. Anything for the members. So, Mark has 2 free transfers. Raya, Senesi, Chalobah, Gabriel, Sarr, and Jai, Semenyo, Bruno, Haaland, Joao, Mateta. And then we got... There's really temptation to play Gavardio instead of, like, and one of your Crystal Palace attackers. There's got to be some temptation there, right? Surely Gavardio's not getting benched in back-to-back games. Surely not. I would really be thinking about playing both Reinders and Gavardio ahead of Sarr and Mateta. I think Sarr's definitely got to go to your bench, right? Surely. Or one of Reinders or Gavardio. I'd probably go for Gavardio on, Sarr off. That's probably what I would do. No free transfers needed. That's for sure. Unless you can afford to do Reinders to Enzo in one transfer. That's probably the only option. Unless, of course, you've got 2 free transfers. You want to drop both Reinders and Gavardio. That might not be the worst idea, to be fair. And then you got yourself some cover for those 3 Crystal Palace players, basically. So you could do Gavardio down to a cheaper defender and then Reinders up to Enzo. That would work. Maybe that, Mark. Would that work? If you dropped Gavardio down, could you upgrade Reinders to Enzo? I think that's probably what I would do in your situation. I'd make that double move. If you can find a cheap defender or cheap-ish defender that you like the sound of. Miss Snoopy, is the sound gone again, or are you behind on the stream? Because the sound was a little choppy like 5-10 minutes ago, I think. So you might be a little bit further back in the stream. Which would explain why you said it sounded like I was rapping when I didn't think I was really rapping about anything. Well, maybe I was. Maybe I was. Yeah, chat seems to think that the stream is good. Sounds good. Sounds fine. Yeah, I think you're behind, Miss Snoopy. Like, you're obviously not going to hear this for another 5-10 minutes, but check the timer in the top right, top left. Does that sync up with what you think the deadline is going to be? Because if it's not synced, then you might be behind on the stream. You might need to drag it across. Super chat from Matt, who says 0.2 million off Chow, Gyökeres to Obi, Kudus to Enzo, not Dewsbury. Nah, I don't think so. To do Van der Ven to Chalobah. Same as you, but Njai to Enzo, not Stack to get Arsenal, Chelsea defense. This is I'm trying to get my head around this message. Mate's team, same as you, but Njai instead of Enzo, not Stack to get Arsenal. And I mean, if you can't afford Chow, you could just go for Keane. That would work. I don't think I would sell Kudus. I think I would sell Dewsbury Hall probably. And again, Dewsbury Hall's probably not a must-sell player. Reinder's not a must-sell player. But if you have the opportunity to improve your team, why not take it? But yeah, Chow is not like, he's the player I'm going for. But I don't think Chow is essential or anything like that. It's just a player I quite like the look of as a bit of a differential. And I feel like going for it. But, please do not perceive this as Chow suddenly being this essential must-have, hidden gem, game-breaking player. He's not. He's one of many good options. So you could go for someone cheaper. And I think most people would suggest go for Keane instead of Chow as well. Mark says, I feel like the show team can want to see your squad, not mine. Yeah, I know. Who TF is Chow? How do we describe him? So he's a German centre-back. He came from... Oh, that's a good question. Who did he come from? Schalke? He used to play for PSG. Did he play for Schalke last season? Or I got that completely wrong. All right, Malik Chow. Oh no, it wasn't PSG. It's AC Milan. That's what I was thinking of. Okay, so he used to play for Schalke. Then he played for AC Milan. Then he plays for Newcastle. He's a very tall lad, 6'4", aerially dominant, and he's pretty good at footy. Seems to be the long-term right centre-back projects of Newcastle. It's who they see long-term. Apparently, Newcastle are kind of trying to work to have that Botman and Chow partnership. That's going to be their long-term partnership. Is obviously Burn and Cher. They're like 33 now, which is not old at all. That is a completely reasonable age to be. And that's not me saying that because I'm worried about soon becoming 33 years old. But yeah, certainly Chow has been good so far. He's been good so far, man. So yeah, maybe. Crab World says, can see that guy not starting. I don't know, man. I don't know. Why is that? Why can you see him not starting? Because it seems like the most of the skepticism around Chow is because, people don't really know who he is. I'm not going to pretend to have known everything about him. He was a player I was familiar with when he signed for Newcastle, but I didn't know everything about him. And I've not really bothered doing any research on him until really the last couple of days. Only because you've hyped him up for this week. You calling me cursed? Is it pronounced Chow? It certainly is. It certainly is. So yeah, Chow's my guy. I'm hoping that he could be. You know in FPL where you guys must get this too. Or maybe the slightly more these kind of managers, maybe not. But these kind of managers, when you just sometimes when you find a player where not really too many other people are, considering that player. It is a bit of a differential. It's someone a bit out there. There are other options that are maybe a little bit safer, but you see something in a player and it's backed up by data. It's backed up by fan opinion. It's backed up by a lot of things. So it's not just your gut feeling. It is actually substantially backed up. You just kind of want to go for it, because having a player in your team that very few other people have, when it pays off, those points feel so much better. A Chow 8-pointer is going to feel better than a Haaland hat trick this week. If Haaland gets 20 points on the board and Chow gets 8 points on the board, which one am I more gassed about? It is the Chow 8-pointer, without a shadow of a doubt. That is the one I'm happy about. Because everyone has Haaland. And it's kind of boring. So, I don't know. Maybe that's just me. But I'm more than willing to take a risk in the right moment. In the right moment. Scott says, yeah, mine was Keane in Gameweek 1, and now people are getting him after I sold him. Oh, man. Oh, man. Are you risking it and leaving Gabriel in the starting lineup? I don't really think there's much of a risk, to be honest. If Gabriel doesn't play, I'll just have my bench player come off the bench and play instead. Who is going to be Richards, by the way, which perhaps isn't ideal, but it's fine. Is it safer to go for Botman? I don't know, Tyler, that it is safer to go for Botman. I don't think it is necessarily safer to go for Botman. I don't think Botman, from everything I've seen, is any more nailed on than Chow is, to be honest. One player I am more skeptical about at 0.2 million more is Burn. So he's not really a player I'm considering. Botman I was considering previously until really I thought, okay, let's just have a look at Chow. Let's just see how he compares. Let's see what the opinion is on him. Let's see what his numbers are saying. And actually, the picture started to show something that looked a little bit better than Botman. And I thought, oh, okay, maybe this is the play. So we like it. And Botman is injury prone too. Very. Best 4.8 defender. At that point, you're looking at Keane at 4.5. Craig, the Newcastle fan, says Chow and Botman are set as our starting centre-back pairing. Yeah, I think you're not alone in that thinking, Craig. I think a lot of Newcastle fans have similar ideas, to be fair. So yeah, I back it. And I back you. I really do. Right. Do you not think Eddie Howe loves Burn, and depending on which position he plays Burn, then the other player will miss out? Yeah, kind of. But Burn is not suddenly bad. Let's just nip that one in the bud. Just because one player is good doesn't mean another player is bad. I think just the idea seems to be that Burn is the prevailing idea around Newcastle seems to be that Burn is not seen as the long-term centre-back at the club. And that shouldn't be too surprising when Burn is a good servant, a solid player, but he's getting on a little bit. And when Hall is back, when Livramento is back, there is going to be decisions to be made. Do Newcastle go to a back five formation? Does Hall, is he kept out of the team by Burn? And Burn remains as left back even when Hall is available. And Hall will be slowly reintegrated, by the way. It's not going to happen overnight. It's either one of those situations. So Burn plays ahead of Lewis Hall, which seems crazy in the long term. Newcastle switch to a back five, which is possible. Or there's going to be a very difficult decision to be made whereby one of Burn or Botman will play at left centre-back, not both. And Botman is the better player. So that that's points against Burn in the medium to long term. It's points against Burn's favour. But we don't know. It could be any of those. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. We can only speculate, but we can at least get an idea of what the potential, different things could potentially happen, I guess. I don't think they do back five because that midfield is essential and they do not want to sacrifice a midfielder to fit a centre back. I typically would agree with that. But again, it kind of, again, makes us think, okay, well, what's going to happen? Lewis Hall, when Lewis Hall is fully fit, he's not dropping out the team. I think it's pretty unlikely that that both Burn and Botman play as the two centre-backs. Two left-footed centre-backs, two left-footed centre-backs who have played their entire careers at left centre-back. I think maybe a lot of the reason why Burn has been playing so much, a lot of it has maybe been incidental because of the injuries to Hall and Livramento and also Botman has allowed Burn to just play so many games. So who knows what's going to happen? But that to me worries me a little bit. Is it going to be a case of Burn and Botman share minutes at left centre back? I don't know. Crabworld says Burn is nailed on. If you say so. If you say so. I'm not gonna be so I'll be honest, I'm not gonna be so arrogant as to suggest I know the answer for sure. Ian says, I agree with you. I just think so Eddie Howe is unpredictable. Has points against Burns' favour in and of itself. Botman on Hall, or Hall could be put in as a holding centre mid. I mean, to be fair, Chow also has played as a defensive midfielder in his career. So, you never know. You never know. But, I don't know. We'll see. It's a mystery, man. It's a mystery. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend I have the answer. But the research I have done suggests that unless Chow has a run of bad form and he's not doing very well, he is going to be the most nailed on Newcastle centre-back for the foreseeable future. As long as he maintains his form. And that perhaps is a big if. That is just what my research has suggested. That's all I can do. That's all I can do. But there'll be people with Burn in their squads right now who probably won't like that answer. So, what can I do? I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to lie to you. A few people have noticed the Orlando Pirates jersey today, by the way. I guess thank you for noticing. It's a bit of a beauty, really. What a quick. It's beautiful. I love the new Adidas shirt style with the lines. It's like it just really reminds me of like the early 2000s ones. Really reminds me of those. So yeah, we'll represent in the Pirates. We're representing the SA. South Africa. We love him. We love the South Africans here in the FPL Mate channel and community. We really do. Who the bloody hell is Chow? Malik Chow. This guy. Man, ball knowledge is being really, really shown up in the chat today. It has to be said. It really has to be said. Bench list. Are we almost ready for bench list? I think we could do a little mini. We'll maybe do. Should we do 15 minutes of bench boost? A bench boost? Bench list. I don't know how essential it is. I mean, I'd heard of him, but has he been injured since he was signed? No. He's played like how many games in the 4 games? 4 starts in the Premier League. Got a bench appearance against Liverpool. He's played, I think, 3 games in the Champions League, or maybe 2 Champions League games. Played in the League Cup as well. No, he's been playing. He's been playing. Botman is better than Chow. At what, Adam? Tell me. At what is Botman better than Chow at? That's a genuine question I'd love to know. Thoughts on toss-in? Rotation risk. Rotation risk does concern me a little bit. The Ocean says, hi from South Africa. I scores more points than Scrabble. That is that true? Does Botman score more points than Chow? I like Chow has a couple of interesting Scrabble letters. Man. The burn, the people are really, really apprehensive about the burn slander, I can say. It's not even burn slander. Burn is a good pick. I just think Chow is a better pick. Scrabble VIR loading. We need verification. We need verification in the stream today. Right, bench list, guys. I want you to tell me a player you are thinking about benching in Gameweek 9. Eugen says, hi, Dan, my Snapchat, my super chat, please. Oh, I'm so sorry if I missed your super chat. Oh, I did. I have Van der Ven, Minter, and Saar. What should I do? Nothing. Maybe you can think about selling Van der Ven, to be fair, but I think Minter's fine. Saar's not great this week. You're probably going to bench him, but he's, going to be a great option from game week 10 onwards. So if you had to play one of them, I guess it's Minter, right? Probably Minter. You probably bench Saar. Van der Ven is somewhere in the middle. Ideally, you don't play Van der Ven, but you could. You could. Thoughts on triple Arsenal defense? I love it, man. I love it. I admire those brave enough to go for it. Right, we're doing a bench list. Let's see who. Well, you know what? I might put some tunes on whilst we do the bench list. We've been streaming for an hour and a half. I need to get my energy levels back up. And music sometimes helps with that. Looks like my wife is listening to Charlie XCX on my Spotify account. Not anymore. Right. Bench list. Let's go through some of these players that you guys were shouting out. So, oh, Rory, you didn't like my South African accent? What's wrong with it? That was pretty good. So Munoz we'll put there. We'll put Richards below him. I think we'll put Reinders above. Who else? Gavardia. Oh, I play Gavardia above both of those guys. Or all three of them. Mark Q. I would be tempted to play Mark Q if I had him. Very tempted him. Juve, I would play maybe here. Sart and Stack. Maybe Saar here. Would I play Stack out of Saar? Maybe. It's close, though. A lot of these are pretty close, but we're going to try and run it. We may adjust as we go through the stream. As we fill up the names, we might adjust a little bit. I'll put the bench list on screen. Oh, man. I wasn't even looking at the chat, by the way. I'm too in the zone, man. Apologies. You are not broadcasting the bench, says Carl. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I need to broadcast the bench. The broadcast was not broadcasting correctly. Right. By the way, I will just put this here just to make absolutely clear. I would start Gabriel. There's no way I'd be looking to bench Gabriel. Scrabble VIR concluded. Chow 11, Botman 10. So Botman can't even beat Chow in Scrabble. There you go. I had a feeling that might be the case. There's some interesting letters in Chow. That W, you know, got to be worth a few points. Thanks, Rob, for finding that out, by the way. Right, where are we? So Mukiele is low, I think. I mean, I would maybe play him ahead of Richards. Same. Alderete is unavailable anyway. Borat says, does bench boosting Pope, Richards, and Jai and Tarkovsky Scout sound good this week? Spurs are pretty bad right now. Yeah, I mean, that looks like a strong bench boost to me. I would definitely consider it. You've got Pope there as well. Who's your starting goalkeeper if Pope's on your bench? Because, by the way, if you have got Dubravka, I would start Pope ahead of Dubravka. Paqueta. Maybe worth a go, Paqueta. Yeah, someone like that. Like you've got to play him ahead of your Crystal Palace guys and probably Reinders as well. Dewsbury Hall, somewhere around Reinders, right? Here, Raya, here, number 1. Number 1 goalkeeper. What am I doing with Alderete? Just leave him. He's only out for 1 week. It's concussion protocol, so he's only out because of that head injury. He's required to miss a certain amount of days, so he's going to be back next game week. Absolutely no problem. Right, who's missing? Estev is missing, and we've got a couple other shouts. Kudus, yeah, Kudus I would start. Who else? Estev would go above your Crystal Palace defenders, but probably not too much further than that. Maybe here for Estev? Makes sense, I think. Mateta would go a little higher than the other. I think I would play Mateta because of the penalties. Mateta's got to go here. But now I feel like I'm putting Sar too low because of that. Have I messed this up? Well, actually, is it because Reinders is too high? That's. I think Reinders is maybe too high. No, it's not. It's not. Okay. No, this is. Can we put Sar a little higher? He is the kind of player who would score against. If anyone is scoring against Arsenal in open play, at least, it's probably going to be Sar, but it's just unlikely that's going to happen. I think Sar goes above Munoz. Defcon. This is so difficult. It's so difficult. Right, and Jai needs to go on here. So in Jai, I'd actually throw above Kudus. So he can go there. Van der Ven. Let's think. He would go pretty low, but above Crystal Palace defenders. So I guess here. That makes sense. Richards at the bottom, have no choice but to play him. Yeah, I mean, it's not ideal. The problem is, Let's go to the clean sheet and stuff odds, because I did see someone in the chat also said, you know, I don't think Arsenal are going to keep a clean sheet. The market suggests that Arsenal have the best clean sheet odds this week. 44% chance for clean sheet. There is no team with better clean sheet odds. Remember, Crystal Palace in the midweek just failed to score against, are they called AEK Larnaca? I think so. AEK Larnaca. You guys ever even heard of AEK Larnaca? You guys have probably never even heard of Larnaca unless you've been to Cyprus on holiday before. It's a Cypriot team that kind of surprised everyone by making European football. I think they surprised everyone. They had a surprisingly good season last year, Larnaca, and they got themselves in the Conference League and beat Crystal Palace 1-0. So, if you're telling me it is a guarantee that Arsenal lose their clean sheet, I don't know. Jeremy says AEK could not beat half the teams in the MLS. This is what I'm saying, man. This is like a team from a town in, like, what's the population in Cyprus? So a district population. It's the third largest city in Cyprus. The third largest city in Cyprus just beat Crystal Palace 1-0. So, like, and by the way, you know, most of these Crystal Palace players, they played 90 minutes, like Mateta included, played 90 minutes. And this was only last night, by the way. And now they've got to play Arsenal. Arsenal have got a huge chance for the clean sheet. They've got a huge chance of getting some goals, getting a result in this game. Looks pretty good. Oh my word. Why is Charlie XCX suddenly on my Spotify page and I can't hear anything? My darn wife is using my Spotify account. She's going to be in big trouble when she gets home. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So, yeah, it looks reasonably good for Arsenal this week, and it looks reasonably poor for Crystal Palace this week. They have the lowest projected goals, 0.81. They have the second lowest clean sheet odds, just 14%. So, all in all, the Crystal Palace players have to go low. We can't put them very high. We have to put them low on the bench list. We don't really have a choice. Do you still have the red and yellow cards? I certainly do. And I will hand them out if necessary. Wife overruled you. Yeah, apparently so. Apparently so. I've been absolutely put in my place when it comes to who has control of the music. It's my, you know, it's the annoying thing. It's my Spotify account. Does anyone else have this problem at home? You know, first world problems for sure. But the problem that you have a Spotify account, you love listening to music, you listen to music all the time, but you very kindly one day your wife asks you, oh, dear husband, oh, dear darling husband, would it be quite all right if I borrowed your Spotify account just so I can listen to a little bit of music? And then 5-6 years later, half the time you're trying to listen to your music on your account that you pay for, and suddenly the music stops because someone else is taking control over the Spotify account, playing Harry Styles or, I don't know, Charlie XCX, when I just want to listen to my indie synth pop. And it's just outrageous. Is that, Crab World, you reckon that's divorce-worthy behaviour? I can't believe my kindness has been taken advantage of in such a way. And now I cannot listen to my own music on my own Spotify account on a Friday evening. Outrageous. Outrageous. Any news on Cher? No news on Cher. He's been available for the last 4 Newcastle games. He's just been on the bench. Could have been Mariah. Oh, the Mariah will be played on my Spotify account in the next few weeks. And by the way, it completely compromises your Spotify Wrapped every year because you've got a load of nonsense music on there. I could go on and on. I'm very protective of my Spotify account, as you can see. Maybe someone has protected, but I just felt bad. It's like she was like, "Oh, I don't really want to pay £10 a month for my own Spotify account. It's a lot of money to spend, for music." I'm like, "Yes, it is. Music's important to me, so I'm happy to pay for it. Are you happy to pay for it?" "No, not really. It's a lot of money. So, but you have an account, so why can't I just use yours?" And I feel like I'm the bad guy if I say no. And look at me now, a shell of my former self. Just use YouTube. Ugh, I don't know, man. I have YouTube Premium, so I could do. I prefer Spotify. I've got all my playlists that I carefully curated over years. I've got all of my recommendations and my algorithm. I got it all working so well for me. Everything was great on Spotify. Someone is sleeping on the couch tonight. Yeah, and it's not going to be me because I'm not the one who's stolen a Spotify account. Let me tell you that right now. It's the couch for Mrs. FPL Mate. She needs to learn a lesson. That's all a joke, by the way, just to be very, very clear. Oh. Premium Duo, mate. Had to go there. Costs a bit more, but protects your listening pleasure. Oh, that's not the worst shout, Dan, you need to be more dominant. Maybe. Right, let's go back to FPL. Sorry, guys. A little bit of a tangent there, but they can happen. They can happen. OG says, my wife owns my Spotify since she is a student. Not sure that's something you should be admitting, OG. That's not true. They could be older students. You could also be of student age too. But there you go. Right, come on, back to FPL. We need to focus. We need to stay focused here. We're getting off topic. Right. Bench list. Who is going on? Fayaz says Rodon on the list. Finally, we can get back to chat. Rodon. I quite like Rodon for this week. It has to be said. I'd be very tempted to play him ahead of Fairview. By the way, Leeds' underlying defensive data, non-penalty at least, was surprisingly good. It's actually one of the better non-penalty XGC in the league. So yeah, shout out Newcastle. Shout out Leeds. Goodmanson, let's just put him next to him. Put them together. Two brothers. Not brothers at all. They're just 2 4 million Leeds defenders. But, you may as well put them in the same conversation. Very much like for like. Rodon over Juve? I think so, yeah. I think so. Worth holding Alderete and Anderson with their flags? I think so. As long as... basically, as long as you don't have Gabriel. If you have Gabriel, Alderete, and Anderson, you could be in some bother. Is Stack that bad? Kinda, yeah. Not really on set pieces anymore, getting early subs, not getting defensive contributions anymore. It's not great at the moment. I should probably check if there's been any more injury news or anything like that. Any more news since we started the stream. I've not actually checked. Doesn't look like it. Yeah, I think we're mostly good on that front. Yeah. Any DMs? Nothing interesting. Okay. Yeah. Nothing we know. Enzo out that you know of? I wouldn't have thought so. He played in the midweek, so he is available. Enzo's been training all week, played 45 minutes in the Champions League against Ajax, subbed at half-time because Chelsea were winning by a significant margin. So got his rest there. I would be reasonably confident that Enzo starts tomorrow. Should be pretty good for minutes. So yeah, something to look forward to. Rory says, "Okay, just made me panic. I have Gabriel, Alderete, and Anderson." Yeah, that's a lot of Doritos. That's a bag of Doritos in your team. A lot of those triangles. Nor says, "Still set on Chow, mate. Just joined." I am. I probably should make these transfers at some point because I know what's going to happen. I'm going to forget to actually verify and confirm and make the transfers, and then I'm going to be like, I can't believe it. But no, it's fine. Should I just lock it in now? We're not going to get any like news between the relevant news between now and the end of deadline. I wouldn't have thought. But then again, you never know. There's no real benefit from me making transfers now rather than in an hour's time. You know what? I'm going to set an alarm on my phone, or a timer, should I say, for 1 hour. In 1 hour's time, I will check for any news again, and if there is nothing, I will make the transfers. It is a 6:30 deadline. Yeah, it is. Just double checking there, just in case I'd made a terrible, terrible error. But I have not. Have you been playing the new Football Manager? No, I've never really got into Football Manager. I don't know why. It's definitely the kind of game I'd like. It's quite an intense game to get into, I think. So I've always been a bit cautious about taking the plunge. But I love career mode on FIFA, so it's my kind of thing probably. I feel like I would lose a lot of time if I started playing Football Manager. A lot of time. Another reason is like I've never really been into PC gaming. I've always been into console gaming, so that's another reason, I guess. Just prefer console gaming, and I typically prefer online gaming as well, if possible. Other than football games, well, even football games play Ultimate Team. So, right, who is missing from the bench list? Calvert-Lewin needs to go on here as well. We've got a little bit of space, to be fair. We can add some more players to the bench list. So let's throw Enzo on. Let's throw Calvert-Lewin is not going to go super high, but maybe above Mateta. Okay. Lyle Foster. Of course, Lyle Foster is available now, isn't he? Could maybe play him. I'm not going to put him on the bench list because he's a bit differential. Joao Pedro. Surely you're not going to bench Joao Pedro. Surely not. I couldn't consider it personally, so he can go right there. Chalobah doesn't need really to go on. Mukiele can go on in fairness. Oh no, he's already on there. He's second bottom. Caicedo can go in light here. Brandon, you're the only person who wants Igor Thiago on the bench list, I think. So maybe a little too differential for the bench list. We do try and avoid differentials on the bench list. Rice. A lot of people have Rice. The Rice hype is not something I really understand. I say that as an Arsenal fan as well. I don't really know why people are buying Rice, but there we go. Maybe they're seeing something I'm not. In terms of where I put him on the bench list, I guess he would play above some of these guys. Maybe somewhere around Paqueta, something like that. Isn't Rice like the fourth highest mid now? What, for points? Let's have a look. He's the third highest scoring midfielder. How on earth has that happened? He did get some returns early in the season, didn't he? Yeah, I think it's mostly incidental. He's hit DEFCON twice in 8 game weeks. And has generated 0.5 XG and 1.2 XA again in 8 game weeks. with 0.07 XG per 90, 0.18 XA per 90. Cost 6.6 million. I think he's one of those players who's just has happened to pick points up in a short small-ish sample size, rather than really showing any long-term promise. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, that would be why people are buying him, is because he's getting points. He is high on the points table. Yeah, I'm not sure if that's sustainable. Not sure if that's sustainable. It's not for me. It's not for me. But it may be for you. And I would play him above a lot of players this week, to be fair. Doesn't Rice get a few assists from corners, free kicks? Yeah. No, it's going to happen occasionally. But DEFCON is pretty rare for him. It's not non-existent, but it's not super common. Right. What else? Well, who else do we need? Liam says, I went 0.3 with your transfers. Who can I downgrade? Oh, you minus 0.3. Liam, you don't have to make the same transfers as me, my friend. It was never really intended to be a communal team. I'm happy that you find the team inspiring. Don't get me wrong. But like, you know, if it's unaffordable, then you know, this Gyökeres to Saka move, double transfer, was a luxury move, so that's non-essential. Chow is one of a few good defender options, so you can certainly go for Keane if you wanted to go for a slightly cheaper defender there. So yeah, my team is certainly not gospel. It's really just, it's just a way of playing, one of many options of how to attack this game week. And to be fair, a lot of people would say that actually this isn't a week to be making a lot of transfers anyway. So don't follow blindly. That's what I would say. If you're happy with your team, then no need to make major changes. David says, just join. What's up with Gabriel? Picked up a little mini injury that we didn't really know about in the midweek game against Atletico, and he hasn't been in training since then. So Arteta is going to make a final call on whether Gabriel is going to be ready to start against Palace within the next 24 hours. So Arteta doesn't know, but we, as FPL managers, I suppose, hope that Gabriel will be starting this week. Juve in that position? Yeah, is it too high, too low? Why are we unsure on that one? A nice fixture against Leeds, who don't put up too much attacking data, and the attacking data that they do produce falls to Calvert-Lewin. We think Juve is going to start this evening, and he's got good attacking potential. So there's certainly some things in Juve's favour. Khalid says, who to start, goalkeeper, Rayo or Dubravka? I've got Gabriel in defence. I mean, Rayo. Yeah, clear. Easy decision. I mean, what if Gabriel doesn't play and then you have no access to Arsenal defence? Wouldn't be great. Wouldn't be great. Gabriel will have a Dorito of death, and a load of people will take him out and then will end up starting and getting 18 points. A lot of people will be transferring or benching Gabriel. I think that will be a mistake. Juve didn't start last week, and West Ham poor defence. West Ham have only had one game under a new manager, so I think it's probably harsh to judge them quite yet. And Juve didn't start last week. We don't even really know why that happened. Some people saying that it was because he came back late from international duty and wasn't quite ready to go. But Juve has been one of West Ham's best players as attacking threat. It's a good fixture. Yeah, Juve is absolutely fine to start this week. Why stack that low? He's on corners and free kicks. Not anymore. Not anymore. So he's lost a lot of set pieces to Longstaff. He's getting subbed earlier, and he's not picking up defensive contributions anymore. So it's a tricky one. Saka is not starting also. Is that real, Dan? I have not heard anything at all about Saka not starting. I mean, he played in the midweek. It was absolutely fine. People are saying that they've not seen Saka in training pictures. But there's been no quotes on Saka as far as I'm aware. And just because a player isn't in pictures, it doesn't mean that they are not in training. And we know with Arteta, he plays these games, and it's really, really frustrating. It's really frustrating. But there's not. I don't think there's much point reading into it. I mean, what are you going to do? If that's enough to put you off buying Saka, then don't buy Saka. Randy says Saka is not in training. It's not that he's not in training, that he wasn't pictured in training. And, managers are allowed to be as selective as they want with which pictures are published. I mean, I'm not worried. Come on, let's be real. Let's be real. Ethany, yeah, Stack was on set pieces, but he's lost them, unfortunately, or lost a lot of them at least. Right, a few more players for the bench list, we reckon. No differentials, though. I'm going to put Newcastle defenders on here. Oh, we've got Sanchez there as well. Yeah, okay, I'll put Sanchez above everyone other than Raya, I think. Senesi doesn't need to go on there. He's a very clear play, I think. I can't imagine a team that is a defense that is so strong that that Senesi isn't worth playing. So I don't think he needs to go on there really. Players like Newcastle defenders and Keane, you guys are not asking me whether to bench them or not. You guys are asking me whether to buy them or not. And this is a bench list, not a buy list. If you're buying Keane, if you're buying Newcastle defenders, if you're buying Chelsea defenders, you have bought them because you're going to play them. So I don't think they need to go on the bench list. What do you think of the bench boost now that Gabriel is a doubt? If the rest of your bench is really strong, then I would still play the bench boost and take that risk. But if you were kind of maybe not totally convinced by your bench boost anyway, maybe you've got like Sarr against Arsenal or Mukiele against Chelsea, something like that you're not totally happy with, maybe that's going to be enough to kind of tip you towards not bench boosting this week, I guess. Probably what I'd suggest there. Right. What else we got here? Why is DCL so low? I mean, do I have to explain that one? Do I have to? Just feel like I'm violating. Because he doesn't really score very many goals. He was on penalties though, and it's not like he's low. He's like in the middle, It's a respectable position. He's above all of the Crystal Palace boys. He's above Reinders. He's above Dewsbury Hall. He's above a lot of those defenders. Some of those cheaper defenders. It's not low. Why is Joao Pedro, Enzo, Caicedo on the list? Honestly, I don't know. They shouldn't be, really. I think Caicedo doesn't need to go on. Like, who's seriously going to bench him if they have him? Enzo, people, who maybe missed the midweek game are maybe under the impression that Enzo is, maybe rotation risk because he didn't start last FPL game week. And Joao Pedro, people are always doubtful on Joao Pedro. So he does need to go on the bench list because, yeah, people are always worried about him. I mean, I'm not, but this list is not for me. It's for you guys. So just to help you guys out. Jack says Gabriel or Calafiori to start. If you have them both, you play them both. And then make sure your bench is in the correct order. So just in case Gabriel doesn't play, you have that covered to come on. What 3 defenders from Arsenal on wildcard would you buy? I would buy Gabriel, Timber, and probably Raya as a third, to be honest. Sutton Explorer says, I know it's not bench related, but Liverpool attacking assets, should we swerve them for now, or are they worth a look? I think Gakpo's worth a look. Everyone else, probably not. But yeah, Gakpo. I like him. Wait, how does the bench thing work? Okay, so this is... Yeah, so sorry. If you are new to the bench list, I didn't actually do an explainer this week, and I do apologize for that. But we do this every deadline stream, and it's basically to try and help you guys out with your benching decisions. So rather than, you know, a lot of people, it'd be in the chat, should I bench the X or Y? Should I bench this player or that player? And I can see, for example, we've got Harvey in the chat. Says, hey, Dan, bench Kudus, Enzo, or Njai. So, as long as we have... Or we do have Njai on the list. So, Henry, Harvey in the chat actually didn't need to ask that question. And for those other people who have bench related questions, they don't need to ask those questions, because hopefully my little friend here, the bench list, is going to help you out. So what you want to do is, when you have a bench related issue, you're not sure who to bench, who to play, you look at this list of players. You look through the list of players. You look through those players who you have in your team. You're not sure who you're going to start. So in the case of Harvey, we're going to go through your one, Harvey. I hope that's okay, my friend. Harvey knows that he has to bench one of Kudus, Enzo, or Njai. So all he has to do is look at the screen and find the 3 players. So, okay, we've got Enzo at the top here. So he is towards the play. We've then got Njai in second place here. And we've got Kudus below him. And that gives you a very, very quick answer. If you have to bench one of Enzo, Njai, and Kudus, you simply find the player out of the 3 who is lowest on the list, which is Kudus, and that's your answer. And I just find it's a great way to answer a lot of different bench-related questions all at once. To be honest, it's probably not particularly useful for the streams, because it really does kill chat interactions, because like 50% of people in a stream would just want to ask bench related questions, and it kills the chat a little bit. But I think it's good fun. I think it's really helpful, and I think it allows me to help a lot of people without having people have to spam in the chat trying to get their question answered. You know, and I can't always reply to everything. Lots of people have very specific combinations of players, which I can't always, I respond to all of it in all of the detail that's needed. So hopefully it really helps. Just like we just helped Harvey. You're welcome, my friend, by the way. But I do try and keep the bench list to popular players only, because if there's too many players on the list, then it just becomes messy. Can you add Tarkowski to the list? To be fair, a few people have asked about Tarkowski, so we can put him on. I would generally look to play Tarkowski pretty high. Probably here. I'm not super confident in Spurs at the moment, so we're going to put him there. Max Pike says, I've got a pretty bad defence. Sells Dubravka, Van der Ven, Juve, Senesi, Konsa, and Richards. And this is cheap defence. But the rest of my team is solid and no injuries. Is it okay to hold out the wild card until game week 10, or should I go for it? I mean, you've got... Who's playable there? Juve and Senesi are perfectly playable. And then I guess you've just got to play Van der Ven and hope for the best. Sells versus Dubravka is a question. I guess you play Dubravka. We'll put Sells actually at the bottom of the goalkeepers there. Yeah, that I think works. Nando Loris says, hey Dan, I hope you are well. Good luck this game week, my brother. Thank you very much, Nando Loris, and good luck to you, my friend, as well. I'm guessing Gyökeres is a must start since he isn't on the list. Yeah, if you have Gyökeres, you start him. JME, if you have Chalobah, you start him as well. Can you move Reinders above Paqueta, please? I'm sorry, we do not take requests on the bench list. We take requests on players to add, but I can't just move players around. But this again, this is just my interpretation. It's just what I would do. It's just, and it, not a whole bunch of research goes into this order because we are talking about so many different players. If it was my team, I'd be sitting down for half an hour to decide between two players. We can't do that for every player on this. So if you feel that you maybe have a better idea of what you'd like to, how you'd like to do things, then absolutely you should. Don't listen to me as gospel, but it is just my opinion on largely on a whim. Chuba says Joao Pedro out for Welbeck. No, I don't think so. I think you've got to give Joao Pedro the Sunderland game. David says, good luck, everybody, this weekend. I'm off. See you later, David, and good luck to you too, my friend. But yes, Chuba, no, I think, yeah, Joao Pedro, and I'm going to refer to the... Where am I looking? We can get rid of the rate my teams. I'm going to refer to Rob T's market projections here. And I think the market projections are a little bit generous on Joao Pedro. They're putting him second place, the second most likely player to score a goal in Game Week 9 at 0.57 projected goals, which is a fair amount higher than Welbeck, who's at 0.43. But I think that is generous maybe on Joao Pedro, but it's certainly not so generous that it's worth making a transfer there. So for that reason, I would say no. I would not do that. John says, one free transfer, 0.8 million in the bank. I have Gabriel, Anderson, and Alderete, so I need defensive cover. Would you sell Anderson up to Burn/Chalobah or down to Rodon to open up 1.2 million to do Reinders to Enzo/Sar next week? Ooh. If you... Reinders to Sar, you need, depending on what your purchase price was, you need, what, 1 million? Right? To make that move ish, maybe 0.9, maybe even 0.8. So in that sense, you do need to free up something, don't you? I think I would do Rodon and open up that Reinders to Enzo. Sorry, probably Reinders to Sar, to be honest. Open up that that Reinders to Sar opportunity for next week. That's the reason I go for Rodon. Yeah. In your situation, John, I think that's the play. And I think that's a good idea. And, obviously you know what you're doing. You've already thought about this as a kind of a strategy there. But yeah, that's the play, I think. Anderson to Rodon, free up the money, get ready to pull the trigger on Reinders to Sar next week. And it probably would be Sar over Enzo. But again, you can obviously, throughout the weekend, kind of figure out what exactly you want to do. You've got a little bit of time to make that decision, haven't you? And thank you very much for the super chat, by the way. Very generous of you. Matthew Perry says, Paqueta out because Caicedo then. I don't want any West Ham players after watching their last game. I don't think I would do it personally. They've got Leeds. It's a good-ish fixture. He's on penalties as well. You never know what's going to happen. Leeds already conceded a penalty this season. I think they have. Yeah. I think it's worth keeping Paqueta for one more week and then reassessing next week. Because if you wait for next week, you can sort of try and figure out how to, maybe upgrade Paqueta to Sar, which would be a really, really nice upgrade that you wouldn't necessarily want to do this week, but you would next week. That's what I would do anyway. Where did the Stick to FPL podcast go? Sim is away right now, and so we've just, because of some other stuff as well, that is kind of my issues, really. We've decided to put the pod on hiatus for a couple of weeks before we figure out what we're going to do next. So that's what's going on with the Stick to FPL podcast. We'll see what happens next. I'm not sure yet. Petrovic or Raya, who would you start this week? It would be Raya. It would be Raya. I can put Petrovic on the bench list though, and you know what? You have to put Petrovic reasonably high. How high are we talking? Not above Arsenal or Chelsea. Maybe not even above Newcastle, to be honest. So I guess here. Petrovic. Make sure we get the right C. Donnarumma on the bench list. I think he'd actually go between these two. So, yeah, that looks about right to me. In fact, let's check out the market odds. Looks like Rob T has released the latest projected goal and clean sheet odds. T-Bat T is member for 12 months. Wow, thank you for being a member for so long. I appreciate it. Right, let's check this out, guys. Wait, there is a message for me in a different language. I need to look at this. We got super chat first. Mohammed says, "Am I crazy for starting Esteve over Van der Ven or Munoz?" Well, maybe this is good timing to go to the most recent clean sheet odds, Mohammed. Maybe we can help you out here. So Esteve has a 25% chance of a clean sheet and will probably get defensive contributions. Van der Ven won't get defensive contributions because he never does and has the same clean sheet odds. Munoz has very weak clean sheet odds, 13%, but probably has a decent chance of DEFCON. So I would start Esteve over Van der Ven. That one I would do. But maybe, you know what? I would start Esteve over Munoz as well. I don't think it's crazy, no. And Anna Reich says, "Hi, Dan, thoughts on this? 4 free transfers, 0.5 million in the bank. Mukiele, Gabriel, Senesi. Wait. Oh, no, you were just telling me your team. Mukiele, Gabriel, Senesi, Bruno and Jai, Semenyo, Enzo, Haaland, Gyökeres, Pedro, with Stack, Richards, Anderson on the bench. Not enough to go Anderson to burn. That team doesn't need any transfers, really. It's kind of fine as it is. Yeah, I can't really think of any transfers there that look really essential in your scenario. I would maybe just leave it as it is. You're saying you don't have enough money to upgrade your bench, your defenders certainly. So without making a downgrade, and there's no one really you want to downgrade there. So yeah, no, I think you can run it, Anurag. I think you can run it as it is. Yeah, I'm struggling to really find where you could go. The only thing I could think of, if you desperately wanted a new defender, is to go a little crazy and maybe go Gyökeres down to Voltemada, or maybe Mateta, and take maybe Anderson to Timber. That's the only thing I could think of. It's the only thing I can think of. Sim's in the chat. Hello from Thailand. What's up, Sim? Nice to hear from you, man. How's it going? How's the holiday? Let me know. Hey, thank you, Dan. Do you think Eze is ready to face his past? Maybe. I don't know. I'm not super keen on him as an FPL pick right now, but I love him as a player. Is Chow fine? Really good DEFCON data and Nell's starter for now. I like the Chow pick. Adam, I like the pick. Maybe a little bit too much. Maybe I like the pick too much. But let's have a look at some more of these now. Actually, no, I know what I was going to do. I had a super chat in Japanese, and I wanted to read what it says. Because I'm very curious as to how I have someone from Japan just casually chatting Japanese, asking FPL questions in the chat. Sim says the honeymoon is honeymooning. That is very, very specific, Sim. Thank you for that. By the way, Sim, I see you're doing pretty well. Like, aren't you like ranked like 500, 600k now? It's going well, my friend. Right. A message from Japanese Kai Havertz asking, will Xhaka start? Okay, let's switch this around. Let's tell him yes. Yes, Xhaka will start. So just in case, Kai Havertz, or actually, hang on, let's go back. First of all, let's find that guy and reply to him. Can I at him? At. There we go. Wait, how do we say Kai Havertz? We need to figure this out. Kai Havertz. Oh man. Okay. Is that another message in Japanese? It is. Okay. And who's this from? Let's just figure this out. Oh man, I can't believe we're answering questions in different languages now. This is above my pay grade. Okay, this is from... Wait, no, I'm trying to copy and paste the name. Okay, there we go. This is from Haneda Joint, and this is in Chinese. Haneda Tomoniko says... Well, it's Japanese, sorry. I thought it looked like Japanese. I wondered why it said Chinese on screen for some reason. Haneda Tomoniko says, do you like Gabriel as a result of the demand? Who needs to be replaced? I do like Gabriel. Oh, I don't know how I'm going to translate all of this. I do like Gabriel. And I wouldn't sell him. But you need to have someone on your bench to cover him. Oh, man, I'm struggling. I want to say it in a way that is easily translatable. I don't know. Do some people have some kind of automatic translation things? Oh, brilliant. We've got Sim typing messages in Hindi. We've got Zacharias putting messages in Greek. I'm cooked. Like, I tried for a little bit, but can we please try and stick? This sounds so Brexit of me. Can we try and stick to English? Ugh. I like how you reply speaking English, thinking the person will understand. They might if I speak slowly. They might have some kind of translation thing that they're watching the stream on. I don't know what works. Oh, it's Thai. Sorry, Sim. I'm struggling. Got Russian in the chat now. Russian, Thai, Malay, Spanish, Arabic. You know what? Screw all of you guys. This is an English-only zone. If you're not English, get out. That was a joke. Again, joke. Anyway, hopefully we've answered Japanese Kai Havertz. That's that sorted. Clean sheet odds. It sounds familiar these days. It does, doesn't it? Yeah, a little too familiar, if you ask me. Clean sheet odds. We see Chelsea have actually gone ahead of Arsenal in the clean sheet odds. 46% there. Arsenal down to 44%. Well, I say down to 44%. They were 44% before. So actually, Chelsea have had a boost here, which is quite interesting. If you're a Sanchez owner or you've got some Chelsea defenders, yeah, it could be something there for you. Oh, Japanese Kai Havertz has replied. Oh, man. Someone else who looks like they got a Korean name, but that looks like they're speaking Japanese, though. Oh man. Oh no. I need to calm down on this one. I'm getting overwhelmed, guys. Help, guys! I'm getting overwhelmed. I should probably respond to Japanese Kai Havertz though, considering that's the whole thing that started this. Huh? Oh. What does that mean? What does that mean? Oh, maybe just talking to someone else. They're just talking amongst themselves now. We're getting out of control, guys. We're getting out of control now. Things are getting out of hand. Things are getting off topic, and they're staying off topic. And we need to move back onto topic, guys. We need to refocus. There is too much ADHD, unfortunately, in the chat right now. People are failing to maintain focus. He's just saying you're a nice guy. Maybe. Who knows? Mohammed, with a lovely English message. Thank you for that, Mohammed. Would you start on Jai or Paqueta? I would start on Jai. I would. Oh, it means you're a kind person, brother. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. And yeah, you know what? I appreciate you too. I appreciate people tuning in from all around the world. And you know what? Japanese Kai Havertz. I got one more for you. I got a Japanese shirt somewhere. I'm going to throw a Japanese football shirt on just for you, my friend. If I can find it, it's somewhere in here. Unless I put it in the wash. Oh man. I have two. The one I wanted to wear is, it's in the, the one I wanted to wear is in the wash. So I'm gonna have to wear my reserve Japanese shirt. Yeah, crazy. I have a reserve Japanese shirt, a backup option, just for when the first one isn't available. So, right, Japanese Kai Havertz. This one's for you. This one's for you. It is hang on, we'll go full screen. It is the hang on, let me move the microphone for a second. It is the Naruto edition of the shirt. A little bit customization on it. But there we go. We'll represent. We will represent. Gotta be done. Right. Back on topic. Back on topic, I hope. Now with a fresh shirt. It's a pretty nice shirt, right? So yeah, looking through some of these other clean sheet odds, we see Wolves really high there, 40%. Newcastle really high, 40%. So these are good numbers still. Leeds, 38% is really solid. Really solid, 38%. So if you've got a Leeds defender, if you've got Rodon, if you've got Goodmanson, they have to be in contention to start this week. Even if they are a cheapie, they're gonna give you better, routes to points than a lot of the more expensive defenders. So I think it's worthwhile. Obviously Senesi at Bournemouth, 36%. It's pretty solid there as well. Man City, are they up to 34%? Is that up now? I'm not sure. But yeah, Sunderland, Crystal Palace, and Arsenal on the projected goals have gone above Liverpool. They've actually gone up. They've gone up on the projected goals, which means Crystal Palace have gone down on the clean sheet odds, presumably as well there. They have, actually. They were at 14% before. All right, so yeah, even more reason to play your Arsenal attackers and bench your Crystal Palace defenders. Even more reason. It's shifted slightly there on the markets. So there we go. Interesting stuff. Just throw that on screen, guys. You can have a look at that whilst we have a look through the chat. T Salama says, "Damn, ignoring my super chat's wild." Was I off over there whilst it was on? I don't know. Look when the super chat came in. Oh, I got a couple of super chats I seem to have missed, actually. This might have been whilst I was messing around with with translations. By the way, new member, Evolution of Errors. Thank you very much for becoming a member of the channel. And they also say, I have 4 transfer remaining. Should I transfer Van de Ven to Munoz and Reinders to Enzo? I wouldn't buy Munoz this week. I'd rather have Van de Ven than Munoz this week. Reinders to Enzo looks good, though. And let's respond to these super chats that came in. So T Salama says, use my 4 free transfers to do DCL, Salah, Van de Ven, Donna to Voltemade, Saka, Gabriel, and Pope. That would be a big improvement. If not any of them, already did Kudus to Enzo and have Haaland, Pedro, Semenyo as stack. Yeah, I mean, if you could do DCL, Salah, Van de Ven, and Donnarumma to Voltemade, Saka, Gabriel, and Pope, that would be a big improvement in your squad. It really would. But just be aware that Gabriel is not guaranteed to play. But yeah, I think I would. I think I would make those moves. I would do those moves. And then we've got Mr. Math and Bree. Did we answer your super chat already? Not sure. We'll have a look. I need a 4.1 defender to replace Alderete on my bench boost this week. Tempted to go Achimpong, but wondering if he'll play. Also considering Rodon and Mukiele. One of those 3 or another. I would definitely, out of those guys, go for Rodon. I think that seems the most sensible choice. Decent clean sheet odds. Pretty much guaranteed to start. Defensive contributions going to come his way as well, most likely. And you get someone to watch play football tonight if you want to. So, yeah, Rodon would be the player I go for if looking for a 4 million defender for a bench boost. Or if you're just looking for a 4 million defender, generally speaking. Zacharias says, at least try Greek. -4 Van de Ven to Chow. Mate O. And I don't know what that says. Okay, let's see. -4 Van de Ven to Chow. No, not from -4. Okay, let's give this one a go then. Eh? Wait, no. I want this from Greek. Mate the best. Ah! Thank you very much, Zacharias. And how do I say this? Mate O. Calideros. Mate O. Calideros. There we go. We gave it a go. We gave a little bit of Greek a little bit of a go. I think the fans would like to see the bench boost again. Is that right, fans? Fans. I hate fans. Viewers. Chat. Chat is the right word. I think chat would like to see the bench list again. I think that's allowed. I think we can allow it. 33 minutes, by the way, until the deadline. So we are closing in. Nick, I would make sure you guys have pretty much locked in on your decisions in the next 15, 20 minutes. Do we think Vardio will play this week, Dan? I think he will, Jose. I think he will. Is Gabriel out this week? Even Arteta doesn't know if Gabriel is out this week. They're gonna make a decision in the next 24 hours before figuring it out. Another Japanese person has said, will there be any sort of storytelling after deadline? Something like the helicopter story. I don't know if I've got anything for you, to be honest, right now. Hang on, just translate. Google translate. Oh, that is Kai Havertz game. Japanese Kai Havertz. Kai Havertz. Kai Havertz, I don't think I have a story for you today. My life is pretty boring at the moment. I can't lie. So probably a bit depressing, to be honest. Yeah. I've got nothing. I've got no stories. Must be a story from my childhood I can think of. Kai Havertz. I'll figure it out. I'll try and think of something. Japanese guy wants you to add Xhaka to the bench list. Does he? The Arabic chat asked about Gabriel, so I hope this clears out. What did he ask about Gabriel though? What? I feel like everyone is just like waffling now in the chat at this point. I know a waffler when I see one. If you still had Gyökeres, would you still keep him after the Champions League goals? I mean, it's got to give him a bit of confidence, right? But they were terrible goals. Yeah, if you're a striker at Arsenal, you're gonna score goals. The ball is gonna fall for you, and he's gonna bounce off you from a cross or whatever. It's gonna happen. But Saka is still, in my opinion, the better pick right now. So there we go. Ian says, hi, Dan, do you have time to rate my team? I added it to the RMT folder. Did Eza to end it already? We can do it very quickly, Ian. I don't really like to be rating teams this close to the deadline, so it's a little tight, but we'll make a special exception for you, my friend, because I know you've been in the chat pretty much for a long time, so I appreciate your support. So Ian, this is your team. Raya, Burn. I see why you were so keen on talking up Burn. But yeah, Raya, Burn, Gabriel, Senesi, Semenyo, Kudus, Enzo, and Burmo, Haaland, Ekatike, Baltimore. This team is absolutely fine. Nothing. This is one of the more well set up teams, to be honest. So yeah, not much rating needed, Ian. It's a strong team, my friend. It's a very strong team. Well done. You don't need my help. You don't need me. You've got this. You got this covered. Okay, the Arabic chat says he's a big fan and asked if Gabriel is starting. Well, thank you very much, Arabic chat. I don't know if Gabriel is starting. Arteta doesn't know if Gabriel is starting. You kind of just have to hope for the best, start him in your starting lineup, and make sure you have some bench cover there. If Gabriel is injured, does that make a Sarr a better pick, or it doesn't matter? I mean, it's going to impact things a little bit. But I don't know. Not really enough to move the needle, I wouldn't say. Like, I wouldn't I wouldn't suddenly say, okay, Gabriel might be unavailable, therefore I should start Sarr. I don't think that reasoning necessarily flows strongly enough for me. But yeah, I mean, technically, yeah, sure. Okay, so Google translated the Japanese thing wrong. So actually, basically, we do need Jack on the bench list, is what you're saying. We could do that. Okay, so it's a difficult away game to Chelsea, but he's a set piece taker, good chance of defensive contributions. Probably looking at 4-pointer as a baseline for Granit Xhaka, which is not bad. You take that, really. It's better than a lot of the other players. It's going to be, for me, somewhere here. I probably play Xhaka and take the 4-pointer ahead of the Riders' potential 1 or 2-pointer. Yeah. I'd be reasonably comfortable with him around there. There we go. Matthew with the super chat says bench boost to Bravka, Riders, Gay, and Gu. Even with Gabriel in the starting 11, kind of just want to get the chip used. Yeah, maybe. I don't think I would personally, Matthew, because like Dubravka is the only real good bench boost player there. Reinders, we're not expecting too much. Gay has a really bad fixture against Arsenal, but maybe could get DEFCON. You're looking at probably a 3-pointer from him, best case scenario. And Mark Gu could start, but he might not. You might just be looking at another 1-pointer from him. So I feel like that bench boost has a lot of potential to go wrong, particularly with the Gabriel situation. So Matthew, I don't think I would do it. But I definitely understand the reasoning of just wanting to get the chip gone. I would maybe consider just having a second look in Game Week 11 to see if Game Week 11 might work for a bench boost for you instead. If you're not convinced by Game Week 11, fair enough. Game Week 9 it is, but it's always worth having a look at at those different alternatives, right? Or at least I think it is. Just seeing what else. Vidat says, "What are you dressing up as Halloween?" I have no idea, my friend. I have no idea. What is there like a deadline on Halloween or anything like that? Okay, well, I mean, technically, next deadline is kind of a Halloween-ish deadline. The day after Halloween, I think it is. I don't know. I mean, I'm not going and doing anything for Halloween. I've got a wedding on the 1st in the afternoon or in the evening. I don't know. Maybe I'll find I'll try and find a costume to dress up as. Maybe a referee costume again. I have a bear costume somewhere as well. Maybe we'll make next deadline stream a Halloween special. That could be good. That could be good. I appreciate there's a couple of more non FPL questions in the chat right now, but I'm gonna try and, if you'll excuse the pun, stick to FPL. I was trying to stick to FPL because we only have 25 minutes until deadline now, guys. So I'm gonna try my best to stay on topic, as hard as that may be. Particularly when you've been streaming for 2.5 hours. But alas, we move. Nicole says, "Hi Dan, hope you are well. Are there any West Ham team leaks? If there are any, can we trust Arteta with whatever he says at press conferences?" I think Arteta has been reasonably honest in saying that he doesn't know if Gabriel is going to start or not, unless he's lying and Gabriel is just totally available or totally unavailable, which I guess we don't know. So I don't even know which way you would be looking to distrust it regardless, because he's not given any clear answer. I think we just have to assume Gabriel is available and make sure we're prepared for a situation in which Gabriel is unavailable. And that's all we can really do at this point. In terms of West Ham team leaks, it is very uncommon that we will see West Ham team leaks, but I'll have a quick look. And it doesn't look like it. Yeah, I don't think so. Oh, wait, mate. Hang on. Apparently there's a few changes in the Leeds team, but no further clarification. So I don't know where the changes are. It's not going to be Rodon, realistically. I think Stack or Calvert-Lewin could maybe be in trouble here. Okay, just be aware of this one, guys. If you do have Leeds players in your team, there is, I don't want to say trustworthy, reasonably reliable rumours. So you feel free to act upon this or not. It's kind of down to you. I can only provide what I am being told. But there are a few changes in the Leeds United team this evening that could impact FPL. And I would imagine that puts maybe one of Stack or Calvert-Lewin maybe at risk. Could it be someone else that's playing as a striker? Could it be Stack dropping out? Strauk maybe? Goalkeeper? Is it just going to be the wingers changing? I don't know. We'll find out. I don't know. I have no more information than that, unfortunately. If anything changes in the next 20 minutes, of course, I'll let you know if we get any updates on that. But yeah, there you go. We'll see if we can get an update on that one. See if we can get an update on that one. But right now, potentially a couple of changes in the Leeds United team. So just be aware of that one if you have Leeds players. Right. Becky Estelle says, Excel says, Van der Ven or Esteve. It's Esteve for me. Both players on the bench list, by the way. Opinion says, what's your opinion on Solio FPL? I mean, it's interesting for sure. I can't say I am an avid user of it, but you know, I've had a little look, of course, and I'm always interested to see what the data that it's churning out says. But yeah, not on the fence. I'm not a super analytics tool guy, if I'm totally honest with you. I mean, I like a little bit. Like I listen to it, I listen to the numbers, I listen to the odds, I read the stats. But projected points and stuff like that, I'm not as into. I won't, use it as gospel, at least. Which is why I've never had Tielemans in my team, which Solio Analytics suggested that Tielemans was essential. Isn't it also suggesting that to sell Haaland for Salah? A little crazy. A little crazy. Show team gang here, by the way. Always good to see. The show team gang always turn up right at the last minute. Bench order for Anthony. Yeah, I guess Anthony can go on here, can't he? So he's available, right? It's a game against Wolves, so it's a nice fixture. Did play last week, didn't he? 82 minutes. Anthony can go, I think, reasonably high. He's worth a go, isn't he? Let's put him. I'm going to be generous here. I'm going to put him up here. I'm going to put him that high. Bench order for Lyle Foster. Probably a little lower than that, but still, you could play Lyle Foster ahead of, like Crystal Palace players, for example. Is that too high for Anthony? That feels a little generous. I'm going to drop him to here. Oh, fine, we'll put Lyle Foster in. We've already got 20 minutes left. I guess here. Not as convinced by him. Yeah, I think that's about right. Vicario can go here, I think, probably. Actually, nah. We'll put him above cells. Consa. People still have Consa. Consa can go. Perhaps even lower than Richards. Yeah, Consa's going right at the bottom of this list. So if you have him, I would be looking to bench. Jack says, what do you think of Gyökeres captain as a differential, Dan? I don't love it, Jack. I don't love it. I can't lie to you, mate. Yeah, I mean, we'll do a captain poll very quickly. I'm not going to leave it on screen or on stream for very long because I have a feeling I know what the answer is. But who is your game week 9 captain? It's going to be an absolute whitewash this week. So I will put Haaland, Semenyo. Any other suggestions, guys, for captain this week? Who else are you guys captaining other than Haaland? Let me know in the chat. If you're captaining someone other than Haaland and Semenyo, tell me. Rob says Saka. Scott says Enzo. Salah, another Saka. Bruno. A few Brunos. Saka or Bruno, really? Seems to be mostly Saka. All right, we'll throw Saka in there, and then we'll put other. All right, poll's going in, guys. Or should be in. Have a little look. Have a little vote. My man Dan says, Wagwan Dan, has there been any updates if GW starts? Well, we won't know. We won't know. I don't. Will the decision have even been made yet? Maybe. But no, there's nothing to suggest that GW is definitely going to start. Also, GW is dropping in price apparently tonight, down to 4.2 million, which is crazy. Absolutely crazy. Opinion says I have many teams in FPL which I test different FPL platforms. Really interesting. What's doing the best so far, and what kind of ranks are we looking at for each of these teams? Let me know, Opinion. If you don't want to put it in chat, feel free to send me a DM. That does sound interesting. Love to know your findings, my friend. Did you pull the trigger on Chow? No, I'm waiting for my alarm to go off in 1 minute and 12 seconds. Just in case there's any last minute news. Should I buy Rodon on Keane? It depends if you think you'll need the money later down the line. Well, you know what? I'd be super tempted with Rodon. I'd be really tempted with Rodon. For 4 million, it's good value for money. Alexander says start Munoz and bench Reinders. I don't think so, mate. I think I would play Reinders. I just cannot see a Crystal Palace clean sheet. I cannot see any Crystal Palace attacking returns either, really. If they are going to come, then maybe it's Munoz, maybe it's not. I don't know. I think if we're playing the odds, we go for Reinders ahead of Munoz, though. Would you start Saar, Paqueta, or Calvert-Lewin? All of those players now are on the bench list already, my friend. So hopefully that should be able to help you out there. I think is it Paqueta the highest of those three players? Yeah, Paqueta is the highest player. Sell Gvardiol to Chalobah or James, or stick with him. Could sell if you need the cash. I would sell Gvardiol. If you don't need the cash right now, I would maybe hold off 1 more week and then think about maybe doing Gvardiol to Munoz next week, which looks like quite a nice transfer. But my alarm is going off, which means it's time for me to make a transfer or two, as the case may be. Right. Let's lock it in. Shut up, alarm. I've had enough of you. Double check any more team information. Okay, can't find anything. I think I'm ready to lock in. So as I've mentioned before, I've already done the Saka in, Obi in for Reinders and Gyökeres. And now we are going to do the other two transfers, which is going to be Romero out, Stack out, Chow in, Enzo in. We're going for it, guys. We're going for the differential. We are going for it. Ready? Just 100% sure I want to make these moves from Romero, Chow, Stack to Enzo. It looks good. It looks great. It looks fantastic. And my team is now perfect. Perfect. And there we have it. So we have got Richards to cover. Probably not going to get very many points. Just in case Gabriel is unavailable. But, man, next week, we're looking at Kudus to Sarr, Joao Pedro to Mateta. We're cooking, man. We're cooking. I honestly am genuinely happy with my team at the moment. I'm really happy. I rolled in a transfer as well, so we can do something crazy. Move Alderete to the bottom of the bench? Absolutely not, because just in case he magically recovers, I'd rather have him play than Richards, I think. But yeah, I think the team is looking strong right now, and I think we're in a good position. Everyone playing Richards this week. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of Richards auto subs if Gabriel doesn't play. I also think a lot of people, if Gabriel doesn't play, a lot of people are just not going to have a defender. Because if they've got Alderete, if they've got... You'll probably going to see a few Mukieles come on as well. Or, maybe Rodons. If you have, like, Anderson and Alderete, you're suddenly in a little bit of trouble. But, yeah, we might see a few Richards here and there. Come on. Richard's more likely to get Defcons than Mukiele, I feel. Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I agree. Rob says, my boy Reinildo waiting to come on. In fact, I would love to know, guys. Let me know, who is your first defender sub to come on if Gabriel doesn't play? Let me know in the chat. I want to know who your auto sub could potentially be. I'm ending the poll, by the way. Of course, everyone's captaining Haaland. One of those weeks. Surprised you don't have a Jai. Oh, don't play. I don't play template like that, mate. Well, maybe a bit. Okay, so let's see who people have got coming on. Romar has Van der Ven. Gale has Tarkovsky, Sartle, Calvert-Lewin. That could be worse, Gale. Sero says Richards. Nicole says Trippier. Trillock says Timber. David says Richards. Samir says Munoz. Mark says Richards. 420 Brexit. What a name. Says Mukiele. Shaft says Xhaka. Few Van der Vens. We've got Conser here. We've got Keane here. A couple of Keanes. A couple of Richards. Alderete. We've got some bad news for you, Baran. Yeah, interesting. So nobody's really got not many people have anyone particularly amazing, but we'll see. Stephen says, hi Dan, I want Enzo but can't afford him. Do you think Caicedo is a good alternative? Yeah, I think Caicedo is a fine pick. He's a fine pick. Baran says, what happened? What happened to Alderete? He has got a concussion. Well, he cannot play this weekend because of the concussion rules in the Premier League, which means he's going to have to miss a few days of football. So he's going to be out for this weekend, but we'll see what happens next. Nath G says Goodmanson. Are you tempted to play Goodmanson this week? Surely you've got to be tempted to play him, unless your defense is just like crazy good. But like I've got these Leeds defenders above probably Reinders, Saar, Mateta in the kind of pecking order. Stev on the bench as a Gabriel backup could be worse, to be fair. Goodmanson, I definitely have above Richards, Code Knight. Definitely, I'd have Goodmanson above. Is there a bench list, please? We take the bench list off for 5 minutes and people going crazy. Brown says I have Richards. Oh, you're fine then. Richards will come on. I'm just saying that if Alderete is first on your bench, he's not coming on for Gabriel. But yeah, there you go. There's the bench list again. Any leaks? Yeah, let's try and figure out what's going on with this Leeds United situation. It would be good to know. Oh, okay. Stack is on the bench. There you go. So let's forget about Stack. Immediately, if you were planning on playing Stack, don't. He is benched. So that seems to be the Leeds United change, or at least one of them. I don't know if there's any others that are FPL relevant. Interesting. Poor Stack, man. Hang on, I'll put a quick tweet out. If anyone's considering this. Right, anyway, back in the game. Right, 7 minutes till deadline. I think I'm locked in. I think I'm happy. I think I'm happy. Is anyone still not totally happy with what they've got going on in their squads? Are you guys still making transfers? I mean, is it just benching decisions at this point for you guys? Liam says Obi or Q or Croupy to purchase. All right, we'll go through this one real quick. So Mark Gu is set to drop in price tonight, so you're going to lose 0.1 in team value if you do go for Gu, but he could start this weekend, maybe. And if he does, there's going to be some opportunity there. Croupy Jr. is going to probably almost certainly start this game week, but Evan Nilsson could be back next week. So it's really a 1 week punt, Croupy Jr. Obi, on the other hand, is 4.3 million. He's very cheap, not going to drop in price, but also he's not going to, play at all. So if you don't need that 4.3 to 4.5 million forwards, they could just going to sit on your bench every week, no bother, then Obi is your guy. But if you need someone for 1 game week and you don't want to lose team value, go for Croupy Jr. If you're happy to lose a bit of team value in order to spend a little bit less money, I suppose, then I guess Mark Yu is the answer for you. Hopefully that answers that question. What else we got here? I'm going to throw my team on screen a little bit. Actually, should I? People are still asking bench-related questions, to be honest. By the way, guys, if you are asking bench-related questions, make sure you check out the bench list on screen right now because your answer may already be on screen. It's there to help you guys out. Where's Keane on the bench list? I mean, if you bought Keane, presumably you want to start him, right? He would go, I guess, next to Tarkovsky, naturally. Right. The second the deadline hits, I'll cry that I captain Saka. Don't captain Saka then, man. Haaland is waiting for you. What about draft? Do you do draft? I do, but not on the official Fantasy Premier League. I do it on a different platform. But yeah, then I'll be doing my draft team later because I can make changes until kickoff on that one, which is great. Rolling transfers, rolling subs, it's amazing. When do chips reset? That'll be game week 20. Your chips will reset. Calvert-Lewin update. I haven't heard anything about Calvert-Lewin not starting. No, I can't. I've got nothing on. Got nothing on him. Right. Is Salah going to start? I think probably. What else we got here? I'll be terrified if DCL is benched. Leeds would actually win a game. Maybe. I can't see DCL being benched, but you never know. You never know. The problem is, who else would even start there? I think Perot is out of favor, isn't he? Will Gu start? That's a coin toss. I think it's more likely that Gu starts than doesn't start, but I don't think it's anywhere near 100%. What happened to Stack? Looks like he's going to be on the bench, according to I believe, trustworthy league. Play Grealish or Reinders. I haven't got Grealish on the bench list, but I would play Grealish over Reinders for sure. Any Leeds team news? All I've got is Stack not starting. That's all I've got. Randy says 2 minutes, mate. Come on. Come on, what? Come on, what? Do you need my team on screen again? Do I need to save it? Actually, I probably should take a screenshot of my team for social media. We've got to make sure we get the social medias in. Okay. Right. Where were we? Where were we? Yeah, that's right. Oh, you just want to see the team. Is Eze starting? Probably. I don't know though. I would have thought so. I don't see why not. Pedro Porro on the bench list. I'm not doing the bench list anymore. We're too close to the deadline, man. But yeah, it's he's probably going to be pretty low. Not like right at the bottom, but pretty low. Like play him if you have to. What else have we got here? So how come we went with Chow over someone like Trippier? I think Chow looks better long term, and he's a DEFCON defender, and I think that's probably what I'm looking for. And like a decent amount of aerial threat. He's the target man at the moment for Newcastle, which is nice to see. It's just 4.9 million as well. Cheap. For the quality defense that's Newcastle currently are. I'd be worried about minutes. Fair enough. I'm not. Or maybe a little bit, but like, it'll be fine. Guys, we've got under a minute until deadline, so make sure, if you haven't done already, to lock in your team. Lock in your team, set your bench in the correct order, particularly this week, because we don't know what's going to be going on with Gabriel. So make sure your bench is in order, make sure your team is looking hot, fresh, whatever you want to call it. Make sure it's looking very, very good, very nice. And yeah, if you're thinking about making transfers, it's probably too late. Make sure the captain's armband is on Haaland as well. Or not. If you prefer to captain someone else, I will not be so brave. But yeah, people are asking questions at this point. We got like 10 seconds till deadline. It is too late for you to make any changes. We've answered so many questions by this point. We'll be fine. You'll be fine. Yeah, we've had plenty of answers today. We've given plenty of answers. Okay, we are locked. The deadline has passed. The stress is over. Whatever happens with Gabriel now, it is out of our hands. We cannot resolve the situation, whatever the case may be. I'm happy, guys. I'm happy. Gabriel will decide my bench boost. I think you're probably not alone. A few people are going to be bench boosting this week. I think it's going to be an interesting week. It always is. Whenever you've got like a player you don't know if it's going to start or not. And I think there's a few players like that. It's not just Gabriel. We're talking like Mark Gue, who people are talking about right now. Who is Dan James is starting apparently. Gyökeres captain, Gyökeres hat-trick coming this week. I mean, yeah, like a lot of people selling Gyökeres to Saka this week. A lot of people have done that, myself included. So that's going to be super interesting to see how that one plays out as well. Who knows? Who knows? What is going to happen? Has to be said. Sorry, I'm just catching up on like what other people have done on their teams, just scrolling through X and seeing what other people have been up to. It's interesting. Right. Guys, I think I'm probably going to leave it there. I'm not going to... should I stay until the lineups? You know what? I can't be bothered. I've been streaming for 3 hours. Salah says, just here to say I really enjoy your live a lot. So calm and enjoyable, to the point. Thanks, man, and a deserved subscribed. Thank you so much, Salah. That's actually really, really kind words from you. And yeah, hopefully it's been a nice little stream for you guys. Hopefully it's a nice one. Ian says, can we talk about non-FPL things now? You know what? Fine. We'll stay until it's another 15 minutes. What's another 15 minutes out of my evening? All right, we will stay until the lineups are announced. We'll stay just and have a little bit of casual chat. That's fine. What do you guys want to talk about? Have you seen Chainsaw Man? I have not seen Chainsaw Man. Should I see Chainsaw Man? How good is it? What's the premise? Is it like a shonen type thing? Is it a bit more mature? Is it a man who has a chainsaw for an arm chopping people up? That's in my head what it might be. Ben says, I stayed at work late. What's wrong with Big Gab? Yeah, so Arteta basically said that he picked up a little injury in the midweek, was unable to train, and therefore they're going to make a late decision on whether he will start or not. What's your favorite type of biscuit? Probably the bourbon. Probably the bourbon. Or the cookie. The classic American cookie. Possibly. No, I'm going to say bourbon, actually. I'm going to say bourbon. Not as good as Naruto, Chainsaw Man. I mean, is there an anime as good as Naruto? Josh, you're saying it's a 10 out of 10? A true 10 out of 10? Interesting. Interesting. I'm curious. I am curious. I don't know. Who's going out next on the Traitors? I need to watch last night's episode, so I'll tell you next. Hunter x Hunter. Oh, sorry. Not pronounced Hunter x Hunter. It's Hunter Hunter is better. I very much enjoy Hunter Hunter. I have a Hunter Hunter t-shirt somewhere as well. It's not a football shirt though, so I don't know why I'm looking as if it would be in this room. But yeah, I have a Hunter Hunter t-shirt. Big fan. A true 10 out of 10 Vinland Saga, Hunter Hunter. Yeah, okay. Supreme Leader, you're talking my language. If you're looking for a true 10 out of 10 anime, I don't want to hear Chainsaw Man. Not that I've watched it, but if it was a true 10 out of 10, I would have watched it. A true 10 out of 10 is Vinland Saga. I think Hunter Hunter is not a 10 out of 10 because it's incomplete and it's been on hiatus for so long. So that's why I don't think we call Hunter Hunter a true 10 out of 10. I wish that anime could be finished. I would do anything to see that anime finished, but it isn't. But Vinland Saga for sure. I would argue that Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is a 10 out of 10. Attack on Titan, I don't think is a true 10 out of 10. It's a great show, but it's not a masterpiece in the same way as Vinland Saga is a masterpiece. Hunter x Hunter is a masterpiece. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is a masterpiece. What else is a true Neon Genesis Evangelion is a masterpiece. My Hero Academia, again, no. We can't call that a 10 out of 10. It's like a strong shonen adventure anime, but it's not a masterpiece. Pokemon, I think, has to be 10 out of 10 because of the cultural impact it's had. Attack on Titan is not 10 out of 10 for me. Like, it's like, don't get me wrong, these are good animes. Demon Slayer, I just cannot get into at all. But Demon Slayer, I think Demon Slayer is the anime for the generation who never watched Naruto, Bleach, One Piece, Dragon Ball Z, because it's all of the same tropes. If you've watched Naruto, if you've watched Bleach, if you've watched all of those old shonen animes, then there is literally no surprises in Demon Slayer. Everything is expected. You know, it's like all the same tropes, all the same things just happening, but now, like, you know, there's some demons or something. It's a strong, I think it's a strong adventure anime, but it's nowhere near a 10 out of 10 for me because it's nothing new. It's nothing original for me. Anyone watch Dr. Stone? I like Dr. Stone. Demon Slayer is a definition of 7 out of 10, but the animation is 10 out of 10. Okay, yeah, that's fair. Animation good. Storyline, it's really nothing. It's really nothing original at all. And I think that's what I struggle with a little bit with it. I kind of get bored when I'm watching it because it's like seeing these things a million times, and I don't really like the plot / storyline progression. The storyline for me is not for me. Solo Leveling. So I've been recommended Solo Leveling recently, so I am gonna watch that. Josh says that's a 10 out of 10, but Josh, you also said Chainsaw Man was a 10 out of 10. But I'm gonna give Solo Leveling a go, possibly even this weekend, to be fair. Blue Lock, the football anime. Yeah, I've not watched Blue Lock. But yeah, I probably should. I like anime. I like football. Like Blue Lock makes so much sense, right? Oh, Death Note. Yeah, okay. I don't know why we haven't mentioned Death Note yet. When we're talking about 10 out of 10 animes, Death Note is the ultimate gateway anime. So for any of you guys who haven't watched any anime before and you're thinking, you know what? It seems a little cheesy. I don't know if it's going to be for me or not. Just try watching Death Note. It's a really nice entry level anime that is not too intense. It's not too like cheesy or anything like that. It's just like it's fairly adult. It's not like immature or anything like that. But it's got a really strong storyline and it will genuinely have you gripped. It's like a true mystery mystery kind of anime, I guess, really. Thriller. Um but it's a really good entry point because it's very similar to just any other show you've probably watched. Erased is a good anime. Erased is a good anime. It is strong. Okay, Citizen, I say it's not too intense. It's not too intense. I mean, in terms of a transition to, you know, if you've watched a TV show when people are getting murdered in it, then, you know, there's nothing in Death Note that's going to shock you. What I mean is, like, in terms of a cultural shock, a difference in cultural intensity, I suppose, between traditional Western TV and anime. There isn't a huge jump between Western TV and Death Note. Like, there's not a huge leap there. So I think that's why it's the classic, isn't it? I think depending on the age of the person, if someone who's never watched anime before, you have to recommend them one anime to get them started. If they're maybe a little older, you know, maybe really anywhere from, I think anyone at any age can watch Death Note, to be fair. I probably watched it first when I was like 16, maybe even younger, probably maybe even 14, 15. But I think that's where you start if you want something a little more mature. If you're a little bit more open-minded and maybe open to something that is a little more silly and a little bit more modern, then probably Attack on Titan? I don't know. Warren says, yo, man, nearly missed you. I'll watch back. Anime, what have I walked into? Yeah. Things have been derailed because we are... because I've been streaming for over 3 hours and I'm fed up of talking about FPL, and now the deadline's passed. We may as well go crazy with it. You guys, I know a lot of people love Demon Slayer, but I can guarantee that people who, if you love, okay, right, let's put this one out there. If you love Demon Slayer, like you genuinely think it's a 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10, have you watched Naruto start to finish? Have you watched Bleach at least the first 3 or 4 seasons, maybe 5 seasons? Did you watch Dragon Ball Z back in the day? Did you watch any of those? Because I think if you watched those, you're probably less likely to like Demon Slayer because there's nothing in all of those animes that Demon Slayer does that they haven't already done. That is possibly just my opinion. But yeah, that is my opinion. Warren says, came on to see if it's time to sell Salah. Now I'm looking through anime movies for tonight. Rolling with it. Hey, if you want movies, I've got movies for you. Like, to be fair, like it depends kind of what you want. If you want something a little older that maybe is a little more niche, I would recommend Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind. Is that it? I can't remember what Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind. That's it. If you want something a little older, a little niche, I think this is one of the, if you like anime movies specifically, I think this is something you have to watch at some point because it was kind of essentially the original Studio Ghibli movie before Studio Ghibli existed. I think it's the same guy who wrote / animated it. So I think it's a must watch. Just looking for something a little more recent. I guess you're looking at like the Disaster trilogy by whoever, I can't remember. Your Name is great for non-Ghibli anime movies. What else? A real emotional one is what's the one where there's a guy who bullies a deaf girl? What's that called? I know that sounds controversial for an anime theme, but yeah, that's pretty much the opening part of the storyline. But that was great. Steins Gate for me is gold. Oh yeah. Steins Gate is great for me. That's possibly a 10 out of 10 to be fair. I feel like I'm being a bit generous with the 10 out of 10s at this point, but if I feel like I would have to include that. Warren, yeah, I think you're looking yeah. Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind does not feature Mia Khalifa. That is definitely not right. I don't think there is a Mia Khalifa anime. What is that anime called, man? Gonna annoy me. Let's look this up. I'll find this. A Silent Voice. That's it. So A Silent Voice. Grave of the Fireflies. Yeah. Grave of the Fireflies, man. That is a very, very that's intense. Not because of like it's hard to watch if you don't watch anime. It's actually a pretty good anime movie to start with. But Grave of the Fireflies is really emotional. Like yeah, it's a heart jerker, a tear jerker. That one. And yeah, also I think Grave of the Fireflies, and again, if you like the sound of anime movies, then I would say Grave of the Fireflies is well worth watching at some point in your lifetime if you haven't done already. Grave of the Fireflies had me sobbing, bruh. Yeah, I don't blame you, man. Same here. Same here. I've cried at a fair few animes, to be fair. And that was definitely one of them. Man, it's... Yeah, just go watch it. Honestly, if you haven't watched it already, just go watch it. Just trust it. But be prepared to be... prepared to cry, basically. If you're already in a kind of a bad place, maybe give it a miss. Unless you fancy a cry. Sometimes we need a little cry. All right, let's find these lineups. Let's have a look at Leeds first of all. Sub or dub? I don't think it matters too much. I think that the dub is pretty decent. I'm not one of those guys who's snobby about whether you watch sub or dub, whatever you prefer, however you prefer to consume. But the dub is good. It's done very professionally. So it's I think there's some fairly big voice actors in the dub. So yeah, it's worth a go. So yes, stack on the bench as we expected. Strout there as well. Nothing else crazy. We've got Goodmanson there. We've got Roden. We've got Calvert-Lewin. Sweet. Nothing else really surprising there. Let's have a look at West Ham. Okay, Juve is back in. Not really many other changes from last week. Because still no Mavropanos. No Mavropanos in the whole squad. What's going on? Yeah, everything else seems fairly standard. Oh, Areola starts. Oh yeah, the new Leeds goalkeeper's finally starting. I didn't even really clock that. Darlow's on the bench. Finally. Visual. is starting. Oh, Mavropoulos injured last game? Oh, fair enough. Cheers, guys. Must have missed that one. All right. Jeremy says, good Juve is in. So if Gabby is out, I'm covered. All right. So those are the lineups. I'm really what is the Grave of the Fireflies English cast? I'm sure they added some big names in the new English, the Netflix dub, maybe. Nah, I don't know. Right, anyway. That's the football. I don't even know if I'm going to watch this game, to be honest. I kind of want to go play some FIFA, if I'm totally honest with you guys. I'll probably, you know what, I will stick it on in the background. But I don't think I'm going to be locked into this game, to be honest. I'll have it on in the background and I'll watch the highlights. But Leeds West Ham is not thrilling me. And there's loads of football to watch over the weekend, so perhaps this was when I'll do my foot champs. But guys, enjoyed today, and it has been a really long stream, but I have enjoyed it very much. We're coming up 3 hours 20 minutes. One of the longest streams we've done on this channel, to be fair. But yeah, appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Good luck this game week. Enjoy the football. Enjoy everything. And I'm gonna try and upload on Sunday. I'm gonna try and start doing some Sunday uploads starting from this weekend. So hopefully see you guys on Sunday for a video. And yeah, enjoy. Catch you over on Twitter, and I'll see you later, mates. Cheers, guys. Appreciate it always. Bye-bye.